That was actually
really well done.
That was well done.
That was like it was planned and on cue.
I could feel it building. I'm like, come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Yeah.
I mean, you're actually constantly ripping this Mr. Quiet. So.
I'm always angry.
So we're gonna have spoilers for the new Spider-Man movie
Jesus,
splattered
what is
throughout.
happening?
It's a disaster.
So I would tell people now, like we're gonna, like someone last week was like, you guys said spoilers for a movie. You guys said we're gonna spoil a movie, then immediately said a spoiler for the movie. It was like you gave the listeners like a millisecond. Like I forgot who it was. It was Dave or someone.
That was like 2 weeks ago.
I don't.
Last week.
It was like within last.
I'm sure
2 weeks.
David did it. That's
It was
a David
It was
thing.
like we're gonna have spoilers, and it was like the key spoiler was said like the second after the spoiler because someone was complaining to me going, "What?"
No, that was that was about the Avengers movies because we were talking about Ant-Man and Wasp.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that is true. Has everybody here seen Into the Spider-Verse?
I have not, but I'm going to allow you guys to spoil it for me.
He could have
seen it.
He didn't want to see.
And that's on my fault.
So I saw with a couple people yesterday, and he didn't want to go because he's seen it next week. No, because that would have been such a terrible thing to have to see twice.
Go see it again. Yeah.
Can you imagine the horror having to see the greatest Spider-Man movie ever twice?
Yeah.
To be fair,
The nightmare of existence.
so many Spider-Man movies have let me down that my expectations were tempered.
How many Spider-Man movies have let you down?
Probably
At least
3 of them, I would say. Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Amazing Spider-Man 2 would be my guesses.
Spider-Man 1 and 2?
I did.
They're bad.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, I agree with you
know
on
what?
that point.
They're bad. Yeah, I mean, obviously,
Don't get me wrong, they're not terrible, but they're not. I want to watch them
they're-
twice in weekends
I
back to
still
back.
don't think there are bad elements in them.
Amazing
but
1 and 2?
The Andrew Garfield ones we're talking
Yeah.
about. Right?
Yeah.
Those are forgettably mediocre. They're not
bad
enough to
Right, but
care
I don't want
about
to watch
after
them
the
on
fact.
back-to-back weekends.
Yeah, no, that's it.
No, definitely. I mean,
Because
So
you
that
said-
was my expectation temper.
I would
Right,
never
'cause
use
you
the
said-
word good around them.
He didn't say bad Spider-Man movies. He said Spider-Man movies that had let him down,
Yes,
which
sure.
mediocre is a letdown.
Yeah, because
This was not mediocre.
and that's
This
what I've
was
been hearing.
fucking amazing.
It was stupid
Fucking
how
amazing.
good it was.
It was just idiotic.
I wanted the punch that connects me. Going, do you understand how good this is? This is fucking stupid, child. Why am I enjoying it to this level? I did like drop a motherfucker. We sat down and I said something about. I started swearing. Then I'm like, then I couldn't understand why they were laughing so hard. And then I realized behind me they were all children. I'm like, ooh. And I looked forward for a while.
Did we spoiler warned?
Spoilers. I tried to warn them.
Posted on
There were 2 to 4 times as many on-screen brutal deaths than I expected. Like, I expected 1, maybe 2. We got 4.
That was a beautiful Stanley cameo too. By
It
the
was
way.
a beautiful
That
Stanley
actually
cameo.
almost got me harder than I thought it would. That was because it was just. I mean, you expect
Yeah.
to see him, but what he did. I mean, because normally it's a throwaway funny line.
Yeah.
That was just a. It was like
It's an emotionally impactful line, and they also made a funny twist about it as well.
Yeah.
But knowing who Stanley is, what he was saying, breaking the fourth wall was very emotionally powerful.
It was.
Yeah,
That was. I was like,
cried.
oh.
Yeah.
I cried a little bit.
Well, you cry a little bit all the time.
You are the biggest girl, and I don't mean. Yeah. No, I'm sticking with that.
Yeah, there's so many good things about that movie. I mean, like I want to see more of basically grizzled Peter Parker.
Dude, yeah.
That is easily the best.
The guy from The New Girl voiced him.
He
and
was
it
amazing. It took me too long to realize that Chris Pine. I was like, as soon as Chris Pine was talking, I'm like, I know that person.
Wait,
but
who's Chris?
Chris Pine was Peter Parker from Miles Morales' dimension.
Oh,
The
Yeah.
blonde
Fuck
Spider-Man
me.
was Chris
the
Pine.
second he started talking, it took me almost until the end of till he was out of it, till I realized who it was. Like, man, I immediately recognized the voice of someone I knew, but I could not think of the name. So I was slightly distracted to my brain for a minute or two.
Because, like, it's an animated film, so my brain's still thinking this is a kid's movie. So I'm like, oh no, Miles is going to have to rescue Spider. Oh, never mind. He's dead. I guess he's not going to have to rescue Spider-Man. I guess we're sticking with the origin story where he witnesses Spider-Man getting brutally murdered. Cool.
No, so I don't know that much about Miles Morales.
This
but
is
that's
pretty true to
much.
his origin, without the dimension thing. But he gets his powers, but he doesn't know how to use them yet, and so he can't rescue the real Spider-Man.
Sure.
And so he decides that he's obligated
Who
to.
kills him in the books?
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin does. Who was different than in this. The Green Goblin in that one is almost like an Incredible Hulk kind of thing because he tries using the spider like super serum that he's developed because he's trying to give himself Spider-Man powers, and it instead just turns him into this hulking roid rage monster. But
Kind of like the Joker in
in the Arkham games.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, kind of like the Green Goblin in this one, but without the purple hat and wings.
Sure.
Like the Green Goblin shows up in this, and he's like 20 feet tall and like just breaking things in half. And I'm like, oh,
Well,
okay,
that's a
that
thing.
one. We're going that route. That was
Nine
idiotically
Andy.
good. Fuck you. You don't matter. We're talking Spider-Man.
Every scene in that movie was amazing.
He took a bagel. Get him.
Bagel.
Bagel.
There is so
Good
much,
news, kid. We don't need the monitor.
so much fast dialogue, so much because every Spider-Man is Spider-Man, so they're all just witty and obnoxious, and you have so many of them going on constantly.
Yep.
And the villains are all on point.
Yes. From like even just like Tombstone, like standing
Yeah.
in the background is a good Tombstone.
Yeah, pretty much. Just quiet and it being the muscle. Yep.
Yeah, the Prowler was good. Doc Ock was really cool.
The music was intense in a lot of scenes. They really did good music. I thought it was a good score. It was good, and also the song selection was really good.
Yeah.
Even every animated, the way they did the animation was, I don't know, it was stupid good.
The only I didn't like the herky jerky animation as much.
It bothered me like
But-
the first 5 minutes, and then it stopped bothering me.
I'm wondering if it would have looked better on a larger screen
I'm not sure.
because there's
Like
parts
the theater.
of it.
No, like an IMAX.
Like an
We
IMAX,
saw it on a normal big screen.
Yeah, we
as
saw it on
opposed
a
to,
normal
If
big
it would have been
screen.
like on the moon, that might have been an acceptable size.
Well, the weird part about it is
You're old.
It looked like part of it was out of focus. Like the bottom half of our screen was out of focus. It felt like. It
Yeah,
didn't
well,
look
background
right.
things were out of focus a lot, and I don't know if that was actually part of the intentional stylistic choice, because they went real hard into the fact that it's a comic book movie, so it looked like a comic book. Like, the characters are actually made up of the colored dots that when you, like, hold a magnifying glass to a comic book, you can see in the old classic ones.
Yeah.
They even were...
Thought bubbles.
the thought bubble stuff, but I'm just talking about, so in old comic books, they would draw stuff by layering the colors over each other, and so sometimes they'd be misaligned, so you get like the blue would be shifted slightly to the right of the outline, and the red would be shifted slightly to the left of the outline. That was in the movie sometimes, like characters would have the red blue
that was
shift.
Kind of what they showed things out of focus was when they would. Do
So
that.
I think that was intentionally comic booky.
Yeah, it was-
the red blue shift was like, whoa.
Sorry.
Yeah. We were laughing at our chat. And by the way, Arctic Circle asked if it doesn't mean that Andy finally completed his task. No, he's still a failure in life.
I'm still a failure. I just
It's a guest appearance.
Well, here's what happened: is Jeremy wanted to be on the podcast, so I said yes.
I did.
Yes, Jeremy, come on, be on the podcast, and then Brian showed up.
yeah, I was like, I guess I'll go along.
That's his problem. And to respond to the comment, Katie did not let me off my leash. She's
He
out of
broke
town.
free. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so Andy's pet sitting.
Hey, I spent all day today watching like CW TV shows I'm like a month behind on, and like doing stuff that I usually don't do on a weekend.
I can't even think of my top like 1,000 quotes from that movie.
No.
There's not even a top like 20. It's like there's like a 50. Every word is hilarious. I mean, like this one scene, I'll just explain the entire movie.
Correct.
Was amazing. Puberty.
I don't think you know what puberty is.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing it next
It's
Saturday.
actually crap. We're just trolling
You
you.
should
trolling me.
seriously just go see it.
It's the
again.
biggest troll ever.
See it tomorrow.
I mean-
and go see it again.
I'm actually on
They're
call
like a 6:30
starting
showing?
tomorrow, so going to movies this week will be
We
very.
can go
I
see it
could have gone
tonight.
this weekend. Yes,
I guess we're
You
going
can
right
just
now.
cancel the
Yeah, I
podcast
can still
and go.
podcast canceled.
We have canceled one
Thanks for
podcast.
listening. Goodbye.
Indeed.
No,
Are we-
I'm not kidding. Fuck those guys. They don't matter.
They don't care. No, we're not going.
No, we're not actually going to go. Plus, we would be in peasant seats, and Brian doesn't do peasant seats.
I don't do peasant
If we bought tickets right at the last minute. To Brian, peasant seats are anything not within the 3 center chairs.
Of the first
and-
row after the big break.
Yeah, obviously.
I sometimes don't mind going 2 or 3 rows back when I'm feeling crazy.
Do you?
So
Because
Andy messaged me that he was going this morning, and I'm like, all right, what seat do you have? And I guess I didn't need to ask because he had E or D7, right? And the first one, dead center right after the break. So I pulled up, and there's D7 sold, and I was able to get D8 because the only other ones in the theater, which were the two that sold before him, were the very, very front row and the third from front row all the way on the right.
Who does that? Who buys that ticket?
A sociopath.
Someone who hates movies, that's for sure.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Like, at first I thought only Andy and I were seeing the movie, and then I noticed those two fuck nuggets up front. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I should have slapped them when we were there. I didn't think to go and slap those people.
It filled up pretty.
No, but just those
they were
two
the first
people
two sold.
who bought the first two tickets, and they
Yeah.
bought those garbage seats. They need a slapping.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a bad life decision, but I guess they're allowed to make bad life decisions.
I guess so.
I don't know why they didn't.
People going to grad school.
I was so happy.
Hey, I went to grad school.
The mid-credits scene had Spider-Man 2099 because I was like, he was such an obvious miss.
Yes, he was.
It was like, why isn't he here? Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Then it made sense.
2099. It also had just a bunch of other weird little things, like it had Webman randomly in the not the post credits, but the start of the credits where they had all the different scenes. They had Webman in there. It was like a throwaway 1960s Spider-Man character, and had the hiding behind the desk meme Spider-Man and the internet dancing gif Spider-Man.
That's amazing.
Every Spider-Man.
Yeah. We don't talk about that one much, though.
No. Peter Porker was definitely great. And I love that they stuck with Peter Porker's origin story, which is that he was a spider bitten by a radioactive pig. He was not a pig bitten by a radioactive spider.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's a little ridiculous.
Yes. Even he was good. Like, they lean into the fact that he's a cartoon character, so, like, he has a hammer he can just pull out of his pocket, because cartoon characters
Why
always a
not?
hammer they can pull out of their pocket.
Yeah. Seems strong.
Good stuff. Nicolas Cage, good stuff.
Yeah, it took me a moment to realize that who Nick Cage was.
Nick Cage sounded like Nick Offerman in this movie.
It sounded very, very similar.
That's ridiculous. All right. That's
We should
Spider-Man.
go through the introductions.
Spider-Man.
Right, so
there's
yeah.
Peter Porker, Gwen, Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
So
They didn't call her Spider-Gwen, they called her Spider-Woman, because that's her actual name, but people call her Spider-Gwen. But
Yeah. Did the Asian Spider-Man, is that actual canon?
yeah, all
Or
of those Spider-Mans were canon.
They were gonna make
Not
one
a
up.
single one of
Yeah.
them was made
Okay.
up.
I just never saw.
Nathan, Jeremy, or whoever you are,
Andy.
He doesn't see Asians. So
Yeah, she came from the same What If Elseworld line that introduced Spider-Gwen, but she didn't catch on as hard as Spider-Gwen
Sure.
did. But there was the same little whatever
That costume
side story.
looks amazing though.
Spider-Gwen?
Yeah,
Yeah, Spider-Gwen's got
It
a
is
cool
a very
costume.
neat looking costume. Miles is pretty awesome though too,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm surprised we didn't see the Scarlet Spider though.
Yeah, no Ben Reilly.
He's the clone,
Ah.
or technically he's Peter Parker.
Well, depends who you ask.
Yeah.
Still disappointed in Marvel for that one. They wanted to retire Peter Parker, so they did a thing where he found out he was a clone and the real Spider-Man was Ben Reilly, and then people got angry, so they walked it back and they said, oh, actually, we were wrong. Ben Reilly was the clone and Peter Parker's the real Spider-Man.
That's annoying.
Well, it was double annoying because as part of it, and this is kind of referenced in Into the Spider-Verse, well, not directly, but it's a plot thing, as part of his retiring and getting his happy ending as Peter Parker, not May, that's his fucking aunt. Who's the MJ? MJ got pregnant, and they would have a kid, and he was going to get to do that. And then they're like, oh shit, he has to be Spider-Man because the fans don't want Ben Reilly. Well, he can't be Spider-Man with a kid, so we'll just have like an evil person. So she got poisoned and miscarried the baby.
Holy crap.
Well, and so that's kind of when Peter Parker started getting super drama and less, and that's why I'm such a big
Is
Miles
this
Morales
before
fan.
or after the demon wishing everything
This
back?
is before the demon wishing everything. This is before One More Day.
I think that was just a graphic novel, not actual.
That was a plot thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one where his radioactive semen kills Mary Jane.
What?
So he sells his soul. I'm not making that up.
You don't read these comics. You just read the summaries of these comics. I think sometimes the summaries are off a little bit. I think it's an important point. You want to see how these
I
facts...
can show you a panel where he literally says that
But
his...
that's not part of that story.
It's part of a difference.
That's a completely different story than what this one is.
But the point is, well, yeah. I'm talking about the downfall of Peter Parker becoming more and more drama and less fun, quippy teenager.
They did a lot of things where it was too drama for a while.
He got very dark and dramatic, and that's why I liked when they introduced Miles, because Miles was back to being a teenage kid who was snarky and enjoying being Spider-Man and didn't have miscarriages and semen-infected dead wives and demons sailing.
The challenge with comic books today is even when they have that going on, you have the amazing, the spectacular, the ultimate. There's so many Spider-Mans, like where the Amazing Spider-Man was your depressing Spider-Man. There were still happy-go-lucky Spider-Mans in these side comics. Not all of them overlap each other with the same arc, so it was also challenging. It's like, well, this Spider-Man's fun, this Spider-Man's depressing, this Spider-Man's dead, this Spider-Man's Morales. So it's like it gets so ridiculous. I mean, Morales is awesome, but not every Parker was.
Sure, yeah, and they did a good job.
But the core, I mean, the Amazing, which is like the timeline one more or less, was the one that was more depressing and a bit too overzealous.
Well, there you go.
Sorry, I was double checking that I was not exaggerating it, and this is literally a panel where he explains that his radioactive semen killed her. So,
well, there you go.
That's a common radioactive semen problem.
He eat too many bananas.
Yeah, I mean, that just happens.
Yeah.
I thought it was carrots, but
yeah. I mean, obviously, though, the best Spider-Man is still Superior Spider-Man. But
Superior Spider-Man was, there's a lot of them. Indeed.
I'll take your word for it.
That's the one where Dr. Octopus switched bodies with Spider-Man and then killed Spider-Man in his body. So Spider-Man was just permanently Dr. Octavius in his body. And so he just carries on being Spider-Man. Because what else is he going to do?
What else are you going to do? Because now you're in Spider-Man's body?
And his first fight is against, I think it's the Lizard. It's either the Lizard or maybe the Scorpion or something. And he punches him so hard the guy's jaw just busts off his face. He literally punches the guy's skull half off. And he's like, oh, I guess Spider-Man's strong.
Fair enough. Well, there you go.
True story.
You guys all look like you need a nap after the Spider-Man recap. Are you just spent?
No, I'm just frustrated I'm not watching it again right now.
Yeah. I also watched like 2 movies right after that, too.
Oh, so you've had a very movie day.
With Jason, yeah.
I did. You watched tons of movies. I played tons of Overwatch. Chris was like, "Where is?" Because we were playing Overwatch, and Chris was like, "Where is Andy?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I forgot you were doing your movie-a-thon."
Yeah, well, it started as just one movie. So we watched Cabin in the Woods, which is an amazing film. He has never seen it, which is odd because it has a lot of, well, spoilers, a lot of direct references to Ancient Ones.
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
wait, which movie? I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, Cabin in the Woods. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
I heard Kevin and the Boys, and I'm like, that can't be right. So
No, that was not right.
Cabin in the Woods, I got.
Yeah. It's Kevin in the Woods.
It's just Home Alone, but Home Alone meets Friday the 13th. It's Kevin in the Woods.
Yikes.
It's very short.
But I figure Jason, who's really big into like Cthulhu and stuff like that he would have
Been into it.
heard of that from somebody else that ended up watching it. But yeah, he never saw it before.
He's not really a movie guy.
Get to see a merman though.
Yeah,
You did.
Blood.
Yeah, now it explains why it's a bitch to clean up after the merman.
Yeah.
And then I made him watch Deadpool 2. And all the gloriousness of
that way
X-Force.
he can see Deadpool 2 PG because it'll make sense. Because
Yep.
you can't see it first; you need to see it second.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that it sounds like that you have to see Deadpool 2 R before you see the PG-13.
Katie's planning to see just
Why?
the PG-13 one.
Because certain plot points aren't in the movie. And PG, basically, certain scenes that explain important plots are so
Are gone.
laden with
violence.
terribleness and swearing that they were uneditable. So they basically just cut out certain scenes that explain plot. So basically,
But do the insert telling the story scenes, not then explain them? I mean,
they insert a bunch of stuff. From what I read, some of the stuff that I mean, again, I haven't seen it because I just was lazy today. I played video games all day instead of seeing it. But from what I understand, there's a few points of plot that you just miss. Which I don't.
Princess Bride, there was a lot of plot points that they skip over too.
Yeah,
that's true.
And I've heard all the additional stuff is fun. I've heard all that. They had like 3 credit scenes, which is pretty fun. I mean, it's worth seeing. I just haven't seen it, but
I'm excited to see that one with Katie when she gets back.
yeah. But
I'm excited for the first thing Dan says this episode.
why?
There you go. Was it as amazing as you thought it would be?
That was pretty sexy.
Are we doing actual announcements, or are we just...
Announcements.
Here's an announcement. I play
Go through
competitive.
fucking goddamn intros.
We're to announcements
Every name
now.
has been said by now.
And I'm Jeremy.
Yeah, see, there you go.
All right.
There you go.
Okay.
My announcement is I had fun playing competitive Overwatch today.
Competitive?
I was playing some competitive today.
No.
It was fun.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Why do you guys message me? You guys message me when you guys go on.
Well, we were doing that was mostly quick play. I don't play comp with friends.
Oh.
I like winning.
Real friends don't let their friends play comp together.
Yeah, no.
No.
That seems like a good choice.
That's how I sank in the rating. That's how my score sank, was playing with people. Playing alone, all I've done is go up.
Yeah, I mean, shouldn't you only play that solo or in full parties?
You want to play solo or duo? Duo,
Yeah, duo is doable.
Duo is duo. But beyond that,
Anything beyond
if you
duo
play a
is-
full party, if your friends played a ton and they all understand,
Sure.
it's fine. But you have to play with people who are willing to yell at each other and do things and move and react. And we have too many drama queens that can handle being yelled at.
Like me.
It's but it's fun.
I did play a little bit of quick play yesterday with Alex.
We put like 4
And he was like,
hours.
"Oh, I haven't talked to you in forever." I was
Yeah.
like, "That's because I haven't been on Overwatch."
Yeah.
That's when I
Like,
only
quick play,
the only time I ever talked to Alex.
I can't get upset on quick play. I mean, quick play is what it is. I can play that.
I
infinitely.
almost made you upset on quick play.
I mean, you and the game being upset at quick play are different things. Why is Jeremy being, Jeremy?
Right. It's like Brian could never be angry at Kalis,
Right.
but he can be angry at you for explaining how he can win a game of Kalis.
Kalis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
That's fair.
But Planetside 2 also is
That one could be very exciting.
You guys didn't say what they were about, so Planetside 2 is having an arena mode come out next month where it's like 250 versus 250.
Which could be amazing
Me and
because I
Jared-
actually
what?
balance teams on Planetside.
250 versus 250 with vehicles and people and battle maps and.
To be fair, they haven't said if there's air vehicles.
Planetside 2.
Oh, Jesus. I thought Overwatch? Like, how are you going to have 250 characters?
No,
it's
it's
a
amazing.
whole fucking Roadhog.
It's a lot. It's a lot of wrecking balls coming right at you.
Oh, God.
That's where all the developers from Here to the Storm are going.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nothing but hamsters.
The only game I've ever stayed up consistently like the 1 in the morning playing was Planetside 2 with
Man,
like Jeremy and people.
We even played with my brothers
Yeah.
for a while because I had like 3 brothers that would all play Planetside, and we would just get in vehicles and just go trash people. It was amazing.
Man, that game was addicting.
Planetside 2.
Yeah.
Good times.
Could not handle it. I would walk out of a tower and I get shot in the head.
Yeah, that can happen.
Then I would walk out of the tower and I get shot in the head. And
That's why you drive a tank.
I had like a rock, like I would
Blind
rock it
doesn't-
around and then just put C4 on things.
Which is
And
also
then
fun.
blow it up and then die and then
die.
respawn and do it again.
and then go play C4 again.
yeah. It's pretty good.
Because the best way to get your C4 back was to die.
Yeah.
Here's my announcement / question for Andy. How far did you get in Titanfall 2?
Titanfall 2?
Yeah.
I got, I think, up to the last boss. And
I,
then I had troubles with it.
I heard it was a fun game because I
It
downloaded.
is.
I have the EA Premium service, like the Netflix for EA games, and I downloaded it last night. and I'm just kind of playing.
Well, you should have had it for free on your PS4. It was one of the free games in either October or November.
Yeah, I didn't. No, it was. It was.
It was like last year.
No, it wasn't that long ago.
Was it?
It wasn't that long ago.
Maybe I bought it.
You bought it?
I
bought
think I
it.
bought it when it was like $5.
No,
or
didn't
something
you like
that.
trade your blops for it or something? You had
No. I traded Blops for
Yeah.
Fallout 4.
I know you've had it since last year, but it was a free game a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be misremembering as far back as August.
It's been on
but it
sale
was
really
definitely
cheap.
Yeah,
for a
I think
while.
I bought it for $5.
super
and
good.
it's
Why just rotate way down for free from the thing?
And there's
anyway?
one level with a time gimmick that's like one of the best levels in modern gaming. And
Yes.
So the game's worth playing just for that.
yes.
Yeah.
Because there's like a whole area you go through where you can jump back and forth between like before the building was destroyed and now.
Oh, that's kinda
And
cool.
so like walls will exist or not exist. And there's a part I've seen.
I'm gonna start the game, so shut the fuck up.
Okay.
I mean, I know that exists, but I want to experience it.
Yeah.
And not have you just literally explain to me what I'm about to do.
I wasn't gonna do it. I was gonna give one example.
I
of
don't
a
need
thing,
any
but
of your
that's
examples,
fine.
you motherfucker.
But,
That's my
Whatever.
announcement.
The last time you made me not give examples, you didn't go see whatever movie I just said that you guys should watch, and you guys didn't see.
I wanted to see it though.
Which movie was that? It's your guys' fault he didn't see it.
How was it? What? How was it my
You
fault?
wanted to stay and play video games instead of go see a movie that night.
Which movie
I mean,
was
that
it?
sounds like
it was
me.
the
I
beginning
mean-
of November.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which one?
Before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
The World War II movie.
Oh yeah. Overlord.
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 You
Yes.
fuckers.
I want to play video games.
Okay, but you can do that anytime.
be
Overlord
fair,
was only then, there, then.
I didn't realize that it was Overlord last night in the theaters. In my defense.
Movies like Overlord or Upgrade, you just know
Are
that
gonna be the
they're
only-
gonna get a
'Cause I was
weekend.
also sad that Upgrade wasn't there when I
Yes.
was like, oh, I'll go watch Upgrade. Oh, womp womp.
Upgrade is why I didn't wait to see Overlord. I'm like, this thing has like 4 days tops.
Yeah.
I need to see it.
I think Jeff and I saw it. Like we had to go to the Palace Cinema in order to see that damn movie.
Yeah, that one disappeared really, really
I
fast.
think Nathan's mad at me because we forgot to invite him.
No, it's fine. We rented it from the Red Box and watched
Upgrade?
it. Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it either.
I want to see it.
It looked
Double
interesting.
D.
Double D.
It has. I believe it has a double D in it. Is it an upgrade?
Oh, yeah, for a double dose of pimping. He's making a Idiocracy reference, and
Nice.
we didn't catch it.
I did not.
Yes, upgrade.
I don't have any more announcements.
Technically, registration for the America's Team Championship is closed. It ended on Friday. We are at 30...
Wait. No, and
That seemed relevant. Like,
I thought it ended
And today?
Yeah.
Whatever. The point is, we are at 31 teams. It would be nice to get to 32.
teams.
So we're flexible for a little while. So if one more team wants to sneak in, we'll pretend you registered last week. But we can only keep that window open for so long before we start having to get list lock and stuff like that. So get while the getting's good. Topically speaking, we slashed the price massively. It went from $375 for a team down to $250 for a team.
Damn.
well, that was announced for a while that was going to happen. It was only
I know.
expensive the first couple of years, right?
Yeah. But this year, until like
Last
a week ago, it was still that same price.
Oh.
We finally finalized being able to reduce it, and it'll probably be even cheaper next year because we're going to go even harder into what we did to reduce the price.
Less whores.
If by whores you mean food, yes. Because we had 2 catered meals the first 2 years. This year we're not doing a meal on Sunday because meh, and that slashed the price by $30 a person. So if we can cut out the other meal, but it won't be as direct getting rid of the second meal because meal versus paying them cash for the space is a weird, delicate balance.
Right.
And if we don't buy any meals, then we have to pay, and maybe that's not quite. We'll have to do the math on that.
When we went to the bowling alley, we had the same thing where we had
Right.
to get the.
There's a point where the food is like you either like buy X dollars worth of food or pay them Y dollars, and there's a point where you're like, I guess we're better off here because it's the same price and
Yeah.
we get food.
And we get food. Yeah, I know how that works.
But even still, it's $150 or $125 cheaper than it was a week ago.
Per team.
So in case you didn't, per team, that's $30 a person. $100, yeah. So
25,
yeah. The point is, oh yeah, it was $25 per person we knocked off. I was rounding to 30.
Sure.
Point is, it's cheaper. So if we got room for one more team while it lasts, get in while the getting's good.
Cool.
Yeah, that was an
When
actual
is it?
announcement.
You know, at least one
January.
team forgot to sign up.
Well,
Yes.
yeah.
No, someone else is handling Keith's team.
Oh,
Yes.
so 2 teams.
Because he would forget.
Yes.
And by that you mean year 1 and year 2.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
If I just show up at the day of the event, that's cool, right, guys?
You can show up and hang out.
No, I meant that's Keith's quote.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how I handle when I go to like War Machine Weekend or Adepticon. I have a conversation with somebody like 6 months before the event, and I agree to be in their hotel room.
Sure.
And then like
You
2
mean
or
you could
3
just say
days
me.
before the event, it's been you consistently. But before that, it was other people. Like sometimes it was Andy, or sometimes it was Brian, sometimes it was Travis.
sometimes
and I
you
would just
would-
show up, and they'd be like, "Oh, cool, we're in room whatever." I'm like, "Oh yeah, it was you, thanks." And I was just like,
I hate you.
Sometimes you would agree to help me out with events.
I did help. I helped you set up, and then I disappeared for 2 rounds, and then I came back.
Okay.
I did help. And to be fair, I showed up to help you set up, and you're like, oh, I forgot you were going to help me. So I didn't have to help at all.
If I go to help someone, they go, I forgot. That means they don't need me at all.
Yeah.
That was my fault.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I guess I'm free.
Helped him set up, and then
I-
went and played board games with Team H and J.
So, yeah, it was because of Privateer was helping me out that year.
Those sons of bitches.
Fuckers.
Assholes.
Jeez.
That's not very nice.
Well, why'd you say it?
No one works there I know anymore anyway. So.
No one works there anymore anyway.
Yeah,
So
so
I
I
don't
mean-
need to specify that you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a joke.
I know.
They're fine.
Okay.
So, okay, and I was talking about this before.
Is it an announcement?
This is not an announcement.
Well, we were in announcements. We're trying to keep order. We haven't got the dance announcements yet.
I have no announcements.
Okay.
Dan is announcing the fact that he has no announcements. This is an important
Why
announcement.
didn't you let Dan handle
This
his
has
own
been
announcements?
Yeah, this has been an announcement.
He made the announcement, and then I was like, it's kind of like on
Herald.
C-SPAN. Yeah.
Harold, you are the mouth of Dan.
Yeah.
That explains.
Is your
So
mouth
much.
is your mouth digitally turned to the side? For
I have
some
a vagina face, and then we're going to have a flag of truce, and Brian will brutally murder me, and you'll all applaud.
This is also why we don't let Nathan shave.
You don't want to see the vagina mouth.
So, all right. I have been playing Red Dead 2 for not very long.
Technically an announcement.
technically, I guess. It's
There you go.
Wait, hold
Nailed
on.
it.
How far are you?
Not very far.
Like-
I just did the train robbery.
Which one?
Well, okay.
That's
First
how far
one.
along he
Yeah.
is.
So I
Okay.
did the train
The
robbery.
train robbery.
My first
So-
experience in the train robbery was my
15
my
hours
favorite.
before anything good?
No, mine's like maybe 4 hours.
No.
What he means
Do
before.
you have left?
Oh,
Before.
But so, if I remember correctly, we stop the train, we get all the guards out, and then Dutch wanders off, and they're like, "Hey, protect these guys, or do what you will with these guys." And it's either you get them on the train, ship off the train, do the things, or you can kill them, or et cetera, et cetera. And I've been trying to play as a good guy. And so there are periods in these games where I just tend to forget what's the controls. And so I went to go turn them, and it was like, oh, threaten the guards. And I like, bam, I just blew off one of their heads.
That's a threat.
And then they scattered. And I'm like, I wanted to be a good guy.
L2, talk to merchant. R2, kill merchant. Brian hits R2 a lot in games.
Right, but not by mistake.
No, I mean, I was like, oh, I need to go buy a gun from this merchant. Oh, I don't have a merchant to buy from anymore.
Did you guys see the video Lyle posted of him playing Red Dead 2?
Oh,
like he kills a deer and he skins it and he goes to like sell the deer to some random merchant like in the woods or whatever, and a bear just attacks him. Like attacks him.
Yeah,
so he
that
fights
happens.
off the bear and he kills the bear, and then the merchant panics and flees as a witness of him disturbing the peace by defending himself against the bear. So then he has to go take care of this merchant, and then he ends up being killed by like a jaguar like 2 feet away from a fire, a campfire.
I've had all of that
was-
except for the merchant part happen to me.
Yeah.
He was attacked by 2 jaguars, if I remember correctly.
Sure.
He killed one of them, and then he was skinning the other one near the fire, and the act of skinning it, he was in the fire, and that's what killed him.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But the fact that him defending himself against a bear attack was a crime that the merchant ran off to report him for.
To be
It was
fair,
unbearable.
oh, wow.
And if he was selling to Merchant in Woods, it was probably a huntsman who likes the bears, so he was probably offended. He was probably like a hippie.
I mean, the bear really started it. like super started that
Who,
fight.
hey, whose forest was it? I think it was a bear's forest. So
Quick
bear was there
question,
first.
though. So, go a little bit further into the game. We're at the first settlement, et cetera, and I'm wandering around picking flowers and that. I kid you not. Is there always cougars calls everywhere?
No, they shift to other dangerous animals.
No, I just hear the cat, the wow, wow, everywhere. I swear to God.
I haven't-
Unless I'm just paranoid from the first Red Dead.
I have played Red Dead 2 40, 60 hours. I've encountered 2 cougars. Total.
I swear I hear it all the time.
Actually,
I
wait,
think
you're
I'm
at the
just
first
paranoid.
camp?
Yeah.
You should be relatively safe there.
There is a cougar in the valley area, but yeah, I
Okay.
don't know. But
I was just wandering around picking flowers and that. And I kept
Also,
on
Andy, I
hearing that
will warn
noise.
you, if you're trying to play Red Dead 2 as a totally good guy, good luck.
I didn't want to be mean to the guards in that. I mean, we took over
Like
the
I
train,
said,
et cetera. Yeah.
you'll have a
I
choice.
know I'm gonna be killing shit.
Story mission things won't affect your bar up or down because those are forced things you have to do. Like
Sure.
because a lot of what happens, those missions aren't your fault. But when you're out in the world, yeah, that bar can go up or down.
I just wanted to go through my playthrough of being the guy that's going to threaten the guards, not accidentally just flip out a gun and blow one.
So
head
basically,
off.
you were Robert Downey Jr. in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, is what
I've
happened.
never seen it.
Oh, okay.
We've gone this before.
He's gonna do Russian roulette to scare a guy, and he just spins it, and he just shoots him in the head on the first one. and he's like, well, I mean, it's statistically impossible for the first one to have the whole. And Valkymer's like, I don't think you know how statistics work.
He was like, it's like 1 in 20 or 1 in 30. He gave somebody, yeah. It was like, yeah, Andy won't see that
1 in
movie
30
either.
chance.
Andy makes people go out and watch these 80s B- quality movies that are quirky and cool, but yet won't watch literally top rated movies. If you get a list of best movies ever, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is going to make everyone's top 10 list.
He would rather make somebody else watch Dead Heat than himself watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah, I would love more people to watch Dead Heat. Jeremy hasn't seen it.
I think
I might
someday
have, I
someone's
don't
going to
know.
stab Andy and be like, you should watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And I'm like, well, I guess he's bleeding. No one will help me.
Dead Heat has the best friend from House as a zombie cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fun
Oh, don't get me wrong, I like
It's-
Wilson.
it's-
You also haven't seen Treat Williams' better movie, Things to Do with Never When You're Dead.
I don't think I have.
Would you like Treat Williams? And he's great in that movie. Sorry. I don't know.
Treat Williams is pretty good. So is Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
He's pretty good and stuff.
Is he in Things to Do in Denver when you're
No. But I like him and stuff.
Okay.
We're just saying facts now.
Yeah.
Words.
I like Clancy Brown too.
Yeah. You should watch Things to Do in Denver when you're dead.
No, he's not in that.
No, he's not in it, but you should watch it.
Okay.
That is unrelated.
He doesn't like prosthetics though.
Have you seen the specials?
The specials.
Zombie Dude wants to know if you've seen the specials.
I
It's like Mystery Men, but better and less well known.
don't think I've seen the specials, but I have seen the one with Jeffrey Dean Morgan in it, which is
The Losers.
The Losers. Yes.
Oh yeah, but that's because the specials is actually like superpowers, like Mystery Men was. It's kind of like how Ants and Bugs Life came out at the same time, and then Deep Impact and Armageddon, and then Dante's Peak and Volcano.
Yeah.
The specials was to Mystery Men.
Almost every single time that you mentioned it, the better movie is the second one.
I don't remember what order I did in here.
I don't either now.
You're going Volcano better than Dante's Peak?
Yeah.
Volcano is a better movie, but Dante's Peak has grandma melting.
Yeah,
and
and
that's
Pierce
pretty
Brosnan,
great.
isn't Dante's Peak also the Pierce Brosnan one?
Yeah.
So it's just better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got Pierce Brosnan.
It's got Pierce Brosnan in it. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's just better.
It has grandma melting, and that's easily my favorite scene in the movie. And that, and also off-roading on lava.
Neither movie understands how lava works.
No.
Well, no, not even a little
Nothing
bit.
understands how lava works. Remember, lava only hurts you if you touch it, which is why ovens don't work, because heat isn't a thing.
Yeah.
I thought ovens didn't work just because mine was shit.
Yeah, that too.
Well, that too.
But ovens don't cook food because heat only works if you're touching a hot surface. Air can't be hot.
Well, because there aren't 3 ways to transmit heat. There's just the one.
Correct.
So I have to bring up a third thing Andy hasn't seen that's amazing because it's very important for me to do this. Future Man, a show on Hulu is phenomenal. Season 2 starts.
Seen Future Man.
The whole
That's
season?
impressive.
Not the whole
Oh,
season.
of course.
Okay,
not.
well then, yeah.
Because you watch it, you go, "This is amazing. I should stop."
I should just not watch the rest of it.
I started watching it with our resident grumpy film critic Jim. And so Jim
It's
was not
Futterman.
happy with it.
I love the fact that it's just the Last Starfinder.
Yeah, it's literally just Last
show,
Starfighter.
and they keep making references to it, but it's just in there. But
I don't remember where I was. I heard a part of the "I Wear My Sunglasses at Night" song the other day, and I was just like, "Oh God, Future Man!" Like that was immediately where my mind went.
the show is so ridiculous.
Oh God, that show.
And it's a good Hulu show because it's one of those where it's very short. There's only
Yeah.
like 8 or 10 episodes.
Something
and
like
it's
that, yeah.
and it's so fucking hilarious.
Oh,
I
my
can't wait
God.
for season 2.
Yeah, and it's coming out real soon, right?
No, January.
January.
I mean,
That's
2
pretty
weeks away.
soon, as it turns out.
We're 2 weeks from January.
And it's like the first week in January too, so it's
man,
like
that's
really
exciting.
early. I can't. My brain is like April having both the final season of Game of Thrones and the final Avenger movie. So and that's like
Yeah,
4.5 months away.
April's going to be a crazy month.
Wait, Avengers in April? already?
Yeah,
Yeah,
last
they
week in
moved it up.
April. Last week in April.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And when's is Captain Marvel March?
March,
So
yeah.
there's just back to back
Yep,
months.
back-to-back
Jesus.
Marvels. Yeah.
Man, Marvel's like, just please throw all the money at us, and they're like, okay.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to give them all of my money in March and April, so yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's happening.
You need more money.
He works in Epic. He has plenty.
Apparently has $16.
I have to buy a ticket for KD2, all right?
You don't
32.
have to. What you can do is just not go to the movie because you're busy playing video games.
To be fair, yeah, I could do that.
Fuck, man.
And I'd be happy.
You could have seen Overlord.
I'm actually a pretty happy person.
I have played far too many video
He
games.
also,
with you.
it's the delusionalness that really keeps you happy.
I have fun even when I'm losing. It's everyone around me that's not having fun.
I have things. In quick play, I very rarely get upset anymore. It has to be something really ridiculous.
I
Otherwise,
thought
I'm just
you
like,
stopped getting accept the quick play the moment they add the "Please don't pair me again" button.
What?
There's a please don't.
I thought there was
button.
Yeah, but you can only mark like 2
You
people.
can
at a time
ignore
with
a
it.
couple people, but
Yeah.
Oh,
you can. Yeah, if someone's really bad. I mean, I will join. Sometimes when if we join a game and we're on attack, I'm the party lead, and someone picks Torb. My response is, "Nice to meet you. Please go fuck yourself," and I drop us from the group because I re-queue us. But that's just ignoring the situation, and it's usually I use
It's so
myself.
bad. So I mean, talking about Overwatch, Torbjorn is so bad now.
Hey, every 12 seconds he gets to fight.
He's so bad now. It's like I could make an effort to actually play him and do well in a match, and can't
No.
with him now. He's just so bad.
Did this turret get moved to a cooldown?
No, his turret he could throw anywhere, but it has like 2 health.
Oh, so yeah.
And his ultimate now is literally the lava from Dante's Peak. It only hurts you if you step in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, there's a little pool
Yeah,
over
like
there.
poo some
I probably
puddles
should
around.
stand a little bit of
It's
poo.
like don't stand. I mean, the puddle it doesn't insta kill you. It like does a high dot. So
I
if
know.
you
I'm just
stand in it.
I'm just torn because on the one hand that sounds
Torbjorn?
awful, but on the other hand, fuck that turret.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's a joke now. You just see
the only way that Torbjorn could be good is if everybody was fighting in caves and then tunnels, like where you have to come this way in order
Sure.
to go there because
and shields didn't exist.
And shields didn't exist.
Yeah, it's
And guns didn't exist.
yeah, it's
Like, if they had to impotently run directly into the turret's line of fire.
So if it was nothing but Torbjorns and Doomfist,
Yeah,
pretty much.
If it was the cut scene from Aliens with the auto turrets just facing down the tunnel.
To be fair, the other night we did play a game. A Torb played on our team, and the other player, Farah, at the end was chatting about how that fucking Torb wrecked us the whole game, and we're all just like, when? At what point did Torb
Yeah,
do
she
something?
was so bad. She
was so mad.
She would fly into the turret's range and just not attack the turret
and
it
not
would
attack
kill
the
her.
turret. And we'd do a lot of damage to her first, and she'd have like 5 health, and she'd be like, I'm going to fly where the turret can see me. Oh, turret killed me again.
Yeah, I almost got my second
like
golden
one
gun,
rocket takes out that turret now. It's just oh,
I think
very bad Pharaoh.
I think Anna's gonna get my second golden gun.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Pretty close to it.
I really enjoyed playing Anna when I did.
Yeah, I have played her a lot recently.
I'm a fan of, even with the changes, I'm still a fan of, is it Brigitte or Bridget?
Brigitte. She's
I'm still a fan of Brigitte even with the changes. I was playing her a bit, and I was like, yeah, I still like the way she feels.
Who's your favorite character, Nathan?
You should play with us.
No. No, that's okay. Thanks, guys.
You can play with us in Heroes of
It's still there. I understand.
it's still there, but
I feel like I'm missing a joke about Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm is canceling their competitive leagues.
What?
Yeah,
and they moved a third to half of the development team to other.
But the game
movies.
still
What?
exists. You can still people are still playing it. It's just they're not going to have a
They
competitive.
just decided that this game didn't work out. We're done with it now.
well, all of the competitive events are gone, and then they're going to have a much slower release schedule for new characters.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I started playing Overwatch exclusively over HOTS, so like I get it. If other people did the same thing. Like, it's not that HOTS was a bad game. I just like Overwatch more, and they
It's
scratch
called-
a similar itch.
And also, Overwatch is more easily monetizable.
Yes.
Also, Chad is wrong. I would definitely play Mercy because I hate fuck people with healing. Like, that's the correct way to play multiplayer games like that, is be the healer and hate everyone on your goddamn team. So why won't those stupid fucks stop getting hurt?
That was what JR was saying to me when we were playing. He's like, "You're the main tank. Quit taking all your damage and then running away."
Yeah. No, come back, you idiot!
Let me heal you.
Trying to fucking heal you, and then the tank's running away from you, and you're trying to heal him. Then you look over there, and like your main DPS guy is just getting shot to death, and you're like, fucker! I quit.
Jeremy is the most like cautious tank in the world. He's
I'm
like,
not a good choice for main tank. It is just not my strength at all. At one point, JR was like, "You're the main tank. You have to set the tempo." I said, "Who made me the main tank?"
you
I literally first picked main tank.
There's no more aggravating job in the world than healer on a fucking online versus game, and I always do it.
I actually like playing.
Potentially tank.
I will say Overwatch and Anna. I play Anna. She's
I
a
like
healer.
playing healer on Overwatch.
They've done a good job. Well, Anna's cool because she has a sleep dart,
Which is
with
amazing.
like an 11-second cooldown. So if you miss your sleep dart,
You die.
for 11 seconds. You can think about how bad you are. So,
Well, usually you die in that 11 seconds.
or someone else is dying.
Or
because-
someone
Right,
else
and for your respawn time, you get to think about how bad.
And then her other butt is like a 9-second like grenade that does a really great AOE while debuffs the opponent. They kills the healing. So
That's amazing.
both your secondary abilities are high skill shot abilities with huge cooldowns. So every time you miss, you just know about it for so long.
I would play that.
It's really fun.
The best part is watching the enemy diva come flying into your back line, and then you sleep dart it,
Yeah.
and then she falls over, and then somebody goes dink, and then she's back up again, shooting you in the face.
Yep.
Or you'll ult the opponent like set up this big combo. You sleep it, and then because sleep will last like 6 to 8 seconds.
It's long.
But then if someone attacks them, they wake up. So then someone like wakes the person up and go, "Well, all that." No,
Thanks, guys.
I saved us, but you.
I get to hate my team. I'm loving it still.
Yeah, it's all hate. Now,
It's all
sometimes
hate
you
all the
sleep
time.
in the middle of a match just to disrupt the flow of it. You know they're
Sure.
going to wake up, which is enough. But sometimes there's a guy in a corner that's going to do something, so you sleep him and leave him alone because they hate.
And
like,
Widowmaker's like, hit today.
I slept the same Roadhog 6 times in a game this morning. And he was always off by himself, so I knew he 50 seconds of that 5-minute game he wasn't part of. Right. So I know he was annoyed at me when that game was over. There's no way.
Didn't they have like in Was Anna still in there where you could choose multiple heroes? Because I could have sworn there was like a grief team that actually just had multiple Annas and just continuously sleep.
I think unless it was
It might have been
one of the alternate play modes, but like
Yeah.
the main play mode didn't allow that by the time Anna came out.
Yeah, because she's not.
Because she's newer.
And her ult powers someone up, and like if you ult someone, they get a heal, they do extra damage. So it's like you have to choose like which person's going to be competent.
Who was I yesterday
No.
that I like got powered up and I was like, Brian, why did you pick
You
me?
were May. It was amazing. People will run like hell when a powered up little girl with a freeze gun is
Little girl with the free
powered
gun
up.
running around, powered up and glowing.
Yeah.
Well, usually what happens though too is you line up and it was like, who am I going to power up? Who am I going to power up? And then Lucio jumps in the way.
Yeah. So your power up dart's going, and some healer jumps in the way of your power up, and then it's like,
Oh, good.
Because Lucio is just flying around the
Fuck
board all
Lucio.
the
I
time.
hate
yeah,
Lucio
nothing's
so
worse
much.
than powering up a Zenyatta that's ulted that can't attack.
Yeah.
Oh, he's super glowy.
He is super glowy.
Can I play as a spy?
Kind of. Sombra.
Yeah.
She goes invisible and hacks
She goes
people
invisible and hacks
runs
people's
around.
abilities.
Good
That's the second and third best things the spy does.
So what's the first?
She doesn't do any assassination.
The spy from Team Fortress 2,
Oh, from Team Fortress
where he
2.
literally looks like a member of the other team to confuse the other team.
No, Sombra doesn't do that.
Ah.
Afraid not.
It's more effective than Team Fortress because the team size is a little bit higher.
Yeah, I know.
I played a lot of Team Fortress back in the day.
Yeah. I played a shitload of Team Fortress 2.
I actually didn't play a lot of Team Fortress. I played a lot of Counterstrike back in the day.
You would be a Counterstrike player.
I was. I was indeed a Counterstrike player.
All the hopping.
Yep. Counterstrike was a lot of fun. I know it's still a thing and people still play it. I don't think I
still
could
play it.
I don't think
I
I
mean,
could play it anymore. Like
Yeah, people will play it forever.
like forever.
Yeah.
I don't think I could play it
Yeah.
anymore, but I used to love
Well,
it.
it's CSGO now, isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, it's still the same. It's the same engine.
But some of those games, like you stop playing it, you like, you go back, but people who played it when you played it haven't stopped.
haven't
playing
stopped
it,
it. So you're like,
it's
oh, I just insta-die. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, those guys all have 15,000 hours of this game.
Yeah.
Thanks for trying.
Did you hear of what Valve's answer to Epic Games' announcement? So Epic Games is starting their own stream service,
Right. Yeah.
which has a much better payout. But Valve's answer to that was to create a Counter-Strike battle royale game.
Yeah.
Nice.
But everyone's making a battle royale game.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but the thing is, and I like Steam, but there needs to be competition so they can. Everything needs competition to keep them honest. And if
Correct.
Steam has been doing some obnoxious things, and if other people are making better things, Steam, nothing stops Steam from making their deals better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if they don't want to adapt, they could lose it. So it's
Yeah.
up to them. I'm glad Epic's doing it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Artifact also has not done well.
Nope.
In its second week.
You know what? Artifact, yeah. Well, people think people like the concept, but it's definitely not doing as well as they hope. I think they're going to try to tweak down some of the randomness. You know what is doing well that surprises me, and people seem to like it, and I don't understand why, is Keyforged. People like
What is Keyforged?
It's imagine a deck building game where
Okay.
you buy a deck and you don't change it, and that's your deck. You literally you scan your
What?
You scan the QR code, and so if you go to a tournament, you buy it. You scan your QR
Oh,
code.
this is the one where your deck gets worse as you win with it too?
Well,
Yeah, because of the QR code.
If you happen to win a tournament, they put a chain on it, and then they basically when you play in a future tournament, you have a handicap against your deck and how you could draw cards. And there's like the handicap.
And you don't get to build decks
Why
or
would
anything
people
because
play
you
this
literally just
game?
buy a pre-built deck. I mean, the mechanics of the game are probably good.
They might
It's
be,
probably
but
a good
that
game, but the
seems to be-
entire outside of the act of playing the game, everything about it is repugnant.
right.
I don't disagree, but it's
I know.
catching on.
I'll say
It
there's
makes
a
no
marketplace
sense
for
to me.
people who like card games who don't want to deal with the third party markets.
So you're
and stuff
saying
like
the important strategic part of a card game where you actually plan your deck and you build your deck so that you're smarter than your opponent is just gone. So now it's just
Well,
luck.
to be fair, yes, to a lot of that. Like I agree, 80% of that. There is still a 20% where you have to play deck, and you still need to
You do
understand.
still have to play deck, and
you
you
still have to know that if you
Yes.
buy a QR deck and it's good, you still have to understand. I don't play this until this happens, and this is the counter to this. I mean, there's
Sure.
still all that element, but the
I hate-
fun part. Well,
Yeah.
also.
I have built 100 decks for every deck I've played in Magic.
Exactly.
We've all made 100 lists for every list we've played in War Machine and
Yeah.
Hordes, right? I mean, that's
That's the
fun.
part I
It's
enjoy.
tactical, correct.
And there are people that don't, and I get that. There are people that are like, oh my god, I just want to download a list from the internet and then play War Machine.
And
I get that.
And for online card games, I mean, that is a very true thing where a lot of the top decks, it's like, okay, there are this percentage of good players, the competitive scene just uses those people's decks, and this game does avoid the everyone's using Dan's deck because Dan is a master of Hearthstone, so no one else has been creative for 5 years because Dan just makes every list for every faction.
Sure.
Except the decks are literally they come out of the factory unbalanced by definition.
But that was the big.
They're random.
That's why. Well, they're random, but
They're semi-random.
there's AI logic putting.
There is
it's still
semi-random.
saying there's still factions that have themes, and the game
Sure.
still picks cards around
Yeah,
themes.
it picks blocks almost, you know,
Right.
or like I know, if it's if you think back to old school Magic the Gathering design, I don't know if they still do it this way, but your 60 card deck, you'd refer to having 3 20 card books in it, and so you'd have one book of nothing but mana suppliers, and then one book of your burn spells, and one book of your creatures or whatever, and you know, so this knows it does those books, and then within each book it has themes, and then it shuffles within, so it's semi-random with some balance, but you can just buy the better deck. I mean, you can just get lucky. You're right about that. You can just get lucky and get the best deck on the planet.
And then even if you get that,
Then
once
they
you
just
win a
chain the fuck
tournament,
out of it.
once you win the tournament or two, it's
well,
garbage.
supposedly, and I don't
It's a
follow the
fantasy
game
flight
close.
game, so we don't know how their
But
organized
it's been,
play
but
works.
it's been going. Yeah, well, they've been doing it. It's been up for a few months now. They've been starting to have a tournaments.
Said I could see if the gameplay's solid, I could see spending $40 on 4 decks, throwing them in a shoebox, and then when I have board game day, saying, "Here, we can play a game of Keyforge." You know,
guess.
I mean, just treat it like that. I would never do like competitive, and I would definitely not go down the fucking rabbit hole buying deck after deck after deck after deck after deck,
hopefully get a
hoping
good
to get
one.
one I like.
But some people can walk into a store and say, here's $10, give me a deck, look at it for 5 minutes and play the game and know what the theme is about, and they don't have to. Because some people just want to play the game and not worry about it. But I mean, it's still weird to me. That does not appeal to me.
Right.
The whole creation element, but. I guess the core mechanics they must have done I mean, Fantasy
They must have
Flight
done a good enough job
is
on the
pretty
core
good at
mechanics.
core
Designed by
mechanics.
Garfield, Garfield is a good ideas guy. I mean, but
I expected it to tank harder. I kind of like what's happening at Artifact. It's just not being well received, but
Well,
Artifact is being
Part of the
well-received.
problem with Artifact is
Or, I mean,
apparently there's a
Keyforge.
very easy to set up like 3-turn win combo. So
which ruins it.
and there's dumb shit like because
and it's a cheap to buy 3-turn win combo.
when you pick your like leaders or your heroes or whatever they're called, and they come with free cards that automatically go in your deck, but those cards suck for some of the heroes, and so that takes out like you might want to play this character, but if he's diluting your deck with shit cards,
you're not gonna do it.
Now you're not. So everybody's playing the same heroes because it fucks with their decks, and it's
That's too bad.
Speaking of card games, Gwent's getting I haven't played much of Gwent since the revamp. I've heard there was some of the neutral cards make it kind of unfun, but I guess there's going to be a big revamp in the next month or two that are going to hopefully balance it
There's
out.
one card particularly that is the current version of like Imlereth's Sabbath was in the last version, where it's just this card where you play it, and if your opponent doesn't have a card that immediately kills it, they just lose the game, and there's nothing they can do about it.
That's fun.
But it's even worse because this is an artifact, and so you play it in round 1, and maybe they kill it, maybe they don't, and you win that round. Then round 2, you play Caretaker, which is take an artifact out of your discard pile and play it again, so it's back. And then if it goes to round 3, you play Renew, which is play a character from your discard pile to play Caretaker, to play an artifact from your discard pile, to play Sea Hill again. So you can play this broken, bullshit, unfun card in all 3 rounds of a best-of-3 game, and it's terrible. But they just had their roadmap like last week, and the new head of their development specifically said, "I hate that card. I am going to fuck it to death. It is the worst thing ever in any game ever."
And their new the new guy who's the new game
He's actually
design
a player.
He was
Yeah.
a player, so he's seen, and people really were pretty happy with some of the stuff they've been saying. So because the game
good.
at its core is amazing, they just gotta just get some of the fringe stuff that ruins it, and then it'll be.
There's a lot of good quality of life stuff they do. Like the patch that they just had like a week ago added right-clicking on your deck to see all the cards you haven't played yet.
Oh, nice.
Which, I mean, there were third-party deck trackers in the
That
previous
did that.
edition specifically for that. And so the people who did those have been trying to quickly reprogram those deck trackers for the new edition, and then they're just like, just don't bother. We just did it for you. It's in the game.
Yeah,
That's cool stuff.
that's cool.
Yeah.
And they're changing the way that the leaders work.
Yep.
Because currently leaders, like your number of mulligans is tied to leaders, and they're changing it to be like Jack and Beast points in War Machine.
Oh,
Because the cool provision mechanic that they have now in Gwent is that cards have a point cost to go into your deck, similar to building a War Machine army.
Sure.
And so the leaders, they're going to have like Jack Beast points, where various leaders will give you different points.
okay.
Yeah,
That's a cool idea.
it's all exciting stuff.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, the way Gwent played to me was one of the best online card. And I'm not a huge online card game, so my opinion doesn't have a lot of weight in reality. But of all the card games I've played online, that is the one that has always been the most fun to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it a lot. And hopefully they do a mobile version soon.
Yeah, well, the entire interface of this one was designed. They
Yes.
they redid their game with the intent of going mobile.
Correct.
So it's just a matter of time.
I mean, I never played Hearthstone until it went mobile. Like,
Right.
having a game like that that's mobile increases the audience significantly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you just want to be able to play it whenever the fuck you want. I mean,
I might reinstall Hearthstone because I was over at Keith and Jackie's house, and Keith and Marshall and I were playing Hearthstone because they have like these shrine runs now, and those shrine runs look really neat.
They did a new format of the Shrine Run in the new set that just came out.
Right,
But
right, and that's what
the
they're doing.
idea has been around for a while.
yeah, that's where you basically the game gives you decks and things. You don't have to. You're not
Correct.
buying
The
cards.
new one, the
Correct.
game gives you a deck. The old one was play with your cards and beat these like 8 bosses in a row. Now
this
it's
gives you a deck with a theme, and then you get basically like booster packs after
Yeah.
every win, and I like that because I don't have.
you
I
wanna
don't
play-
have
'cause you
to
wanna
get
play
all the fucking
Keyforge.
cards.
Well, that
it's
pulls
different.
That pulls
It
the
is
people
different.
who
I'm
like
joking.
slay the spire, which you can. I mean, it's kind of a
Correct.
thing where you're playing the computer doing these various things, and that kind of gets a different crowd.
No, it does. And I enjoyed when they introduced the like fight against the game mechanic. I really enjoyed that. I used to do it quite a bit. So
Yes.
Their quest missions are always fun, and their little things they had.
yeah, I want to reinstall it. I don't have enough time in the day. Is what it boils down to. There's too many things I enjoy doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a good problem to have, I guess. But
Right, but it's nice to have a while you're pooping.
yeah, the problem
Hearthstone
is
is a solid while you're pooping.
I already have a good while you're pooping game. Is the problem?
Is it your Star Wars
It
thing?
is my Star Wars
well,
thing,
That's
yeah.
dumb.
But I mean, just don't poop.
My secret is that I'm always pooping.
You and Jeremy,
yeah,
3 times a day.
Sometimes 4.
Sometimes
That's too many.
That's way too much poop.
Katie's like, he's pooping again. She's always concerned at the sheer number of times Jeremy poops in a day, in case you were wondering.
Yeah, she has mentioned that to me. In fact,
How can you poop so much?
I think it has to do with being unhappy at work, and then there's something in the food there that sets off my. Like during the weekends, I don't, but on the weekdays, yeah, there's something in either there's something in the food at Epic, or I dislike it that much. I can't decide
You
which.
can't make a D&D session without a pooping. You can't go 5 hours without a poop.
Well, that's because on the weekends, my one poop a day is usually around like 2.
Put this in the notes, Jeremy's poop schedule. It's a very important thing people need to know
Well,
about.
that'll be the title of the episode.
Yeah. Jeremy's
Good.
poop schedule.
There you go.
That
Everyone
is
wanted
what
to know.
I can't read that name it was caring about.
Tau Beast.
Tau Beast care. His name is a yellow and it's a glare. I can't
Yeah, that's
read it
fair.
from where I am.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, when you first get into a new game, deck building is very, very daunting. But then you net deck to learn how the game works, and then you can tweak those decks and change those decks as you learn more about the game.
Yeah.
Literally being unable to ever deck build is of zero interest to me.
You just deck build by buying a new case.
Well, that's
But
not
you
deck
still don't
building.
build a
Yeah.
deck. Then you're just digging. Because that's the other thing. It's not even about balance to me. I wouldn't care as much about the balance. I mean, obviously, that's an issue. The issue is like, again, think back to Magic. If you are damage to face, like a burn spell player, like that's what you like. Or if you're a counter spell player and you think that's neat, well, keep burning $10 bills till you get lucky, and that's the deck you
That's
get.
what I was about to bring
Like,
up.
I want my play
supposedly-
style.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you want a certain style, but evidently the decks aren't that far off. But you're right. If you want to do a certain style, even if your deck you get is fine, if it's not how you like to play, that's still a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, because either the decks are all so homogenous the same that what's the point, or they're different enough that they have a different feel,
And then you're sad.
I want to find the feel that I enjoy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Well, I mean, there's a reason you and I aren't going to play that game ever,
So-
even
so-
though it's being successful.
Right. Like I said, if the gameplay's great, maybe I'll buy 4 discount packs, throw them in a shoebox, and it'll be a random board game day thing where we'll
Yeah, I can see
play
that.
a game. Because I've owned things like that, like Blue Moon, or was it Blue Moon City? It was whatever. But there's games like that are basically competitive card games that come with pre-made decks. That's fine, right?
Well, it's like I don't know, you guys probably didn't even play this, but the way back in the day, the Lord of the Rings, the LOTR CCG, not the one that you guys played more recently.
Yeah,
but
not
old
the
school
co-op one, the old school one.
I have 3 decks that I just keep in a closet for. I feel like people are over and we feel like playing this game. We used to play it forever ago. Like my brothers will come visit and we go get it out every time.
Fucking Teammates breaks out his Harry Potter.
He does.
Right? I mean, he just has them.
Yeah, and it's just kind of fun.
I could see treating Keyforge like that, like a
can see
dead
that.
card game where you just have a few decks from when friends are over and drunk, and you just say, "Hey, let's play a game of the Harry Potter CCG."
Yeah,
You can do that,
you can.
but I ain't gonna fucking chase that dragon
No.
trying to find a good deck.
I mean, also, it's a Fantasy Flight organized play, so it's going to be awful.
Also, that.
Sadly.
Well, I mean, their organized stuff isn't that bad. They actually they run their big events every May and June. They have their big events that are pretty popular.
I guess this is the first time that Fantasy Flight there's been a Fantasy Flight game I've been at least slightly interested in that doesn't revolve around container ships from China showing up on time.
Sure, I just know that Lord of the Rings events have been pretty good. I mean, I
Didn't
keep track of a lot of their stuff.
Destiny do okay? Star Wars Destiny?
I don't know.
They were
That was
slow-
after I got burned by Fantasy Flight so bad on X-Wing that I gave up on their products.
But X-Men 2 is okay.
You know what's a great plan is winning an event gets you an in-game item that's more powerful than anybody else has, so that you are more likely to win your next
Wait,
event.
what?
That was Starfleet captains that did that. Not.
What? I thought that was X, where you got a better dice.
No, that was Star Trek.
That was Star Trek.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, that
Wrong
was
game. But yeah,
the
what the
license-
fuck,
yeah.
people?
There's a reason that one folded in 3 months.
It's like if you win a War Machine tournament, you get extra D6s that have no ones. They're just
Yeah.
like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
I
You
heard
got
that
Mario Party
the thing
dice?
was, I heard that.
Okay,
game was- I heard
But
that
then
game
at
was
the end,
actually-
Mario Party just pukes out random stars to everybody. It's communism, the game.
That's actually the game I should have bought instead of Smash Brothers. I should have got Mario Party.
Well,
Is
see,
there a
I-
Mario Party for the Switch already?
There is.
Yeah.
I have it on my Amazon wish list, so maybe I'll have it in a week.
crossed.
Who knows?
It's so weird. You always talk about play things on your wish list. I can't imagine people that look at things like that.
So I only put shit on my Amazon wish list for 2 reasons. One, so that I don't forget to buy it later. I never buy it from Amazon. Like, if I play a board game and I like it, like I enjoyed the Expanse board game, so I just threw it on my Amazon wish list so that the next time I'm in Pegasus, I can look at my Amazon wish
Sure.
list and go, oh, cool,
That makes-
sell me the
yeah.
Expanse. I never buy it from Amazon because A, support your friendly local game store, B, fuck Amazon, and C, fuck Amazon.
First of all, fuck the people who are just too poor and don't get better jobs. No, I'm just
Yeah, that's a valid point. Valid point.
They're very important to me, so don't tell them to go fuck off. But I don't care how evil they are. But you're not wrong.
But anyway, so I use the Amazon wish list just as a mnemonic device, not as an actual Amazon thing. And reason 2 is that this time of year, Raylene's like, "What should I get you for Christmas?" And I hate just telling people what to get me because I enjoy being surprised. So the list is just there for her.
Yeah.
Nice. I was gonna.
Also, you need to buy a Diablo again.
Yeah.
'Cause you need-
Officially up to 9 times now.
I was gonna say.
9 times, Jeremy, I have bought Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Activision Blizzard loves you, sir.
Yeah, you are their friend.
I should get some swag. Where's DeShazer? Somebody message DeShazer. I deserve some fucking swag. I have bought that goddamn game 9 times.
I think you actually need help.
You'll get
An
it on your
intervention is what you deserve. 9 times?
Yes.
Why? I mean, don't
he's
run
like-
down the list. I've heard the list, but like, why?
Because I found one video game that my wife would play.
So to
And
be
that
fair,
Venn
though,
diagram is so small of an overlap.
Yeah.
This is sort of repeat contact for like the last 7 podcasts.
I know, but I want to hear the list
He doesn't
again.
need. Oh,
No, it's fine.
it's
fine.
This is why I want to look at the list.
There are 317 decks of Keyforge registered. That's how successful that game is. 317,000
The
decks.
1,000 is a bigger
That's
difference.
a thousand.
Sorry, I'm like, if
I stuttered. 317,000
that's
decks.
much more impressive than the 17.
Yeah,
I
that would
was
be
like,
maybe
man, 317. No one
There's
likes
like,
that game.
That'd be
there's like
pretty bad.
30 people with 10 each.
Yeah,
Just
this
not
game is
even
a
one
mess.
per state.
Yeah, 300,000 is a little ridiculous.
300.
Wow, that is amazing.
That's a lot of decks.
That's a lot of decks. It hasn't even been out that long.
I mean, that's
Nothing
$3.17 million in sales.
Yeah, I'd say they did all right for themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind playing it. I do find it odd, though, that if you go to a tournament, you end up winning that tournament. And it may not be because of how awesome that deck is, but that you get hammered by it.
Well, and also the chain.
a chain isn't awful.
Yeah, it's not. It's not just. Yeah, I mean, if you get a bunch of chains, then it's
Yeah.
like,
It's like
basically
you draw 1 card less a turn for 2 turns or something like that.
Yeah, it's just it
Alright.
slows down your. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it is not crippling. It is.
and there would be a badge of honor. Go, my deck has 17 chains because I'm and it's like like what's the breaking point of it?
Earning a second chain is pretty badass, I would say, actually. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
you won despite being crippled. That's how good you are at randomly buying a good deck.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
You
I-
are incredibly
I picked
skilled
the
at
random
lottery.
box out.
That's the problem. That just.
Like I said, I would rather just buy $10 lottery
We're-
scratch-off tickets to see who wins the
Yeah.
biggest amount.
But I mean, we play too many tactical games with tactics and strategies that's just not our thing. But many
Yeah,
people don't.
I guess.
Look how bad so many War Machine and gamers.
Yeah.
Whether I'm playing War Machine, Warhammer, or other games, people are just awful at list building.
Yeah.
Many of them. I would say more are bad at it than good at it.
Yeah.
Also,
So
there's people like me. Like I can't play competitive card games anymore because I will buy too much.
yeah, exactly.
So this is a break on that.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Won't you
Because
buy
this is
100
still-
decks until you get a good one?
No, because $10 a deck is enough to actually make me think about it, as
okay.
opposed to $3.50 a pack.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a break. There's that.
You
That's a
get
good
3
point.
packs for $10.
But you don't buy a pack. Well, yeah, that's the thing is you.
But no, but I mean,
No, but when you buy 3 packs of cards twice a week, like I was before I quit Magic.
when you're spending $10, it's a big enough number that you can stop at one. But when you're buying $3.50, I can buy 20 of those. It's only
Yeah.
$3.50, so I can buy 20 versus
Yeah,
the one
$3.50 is
$10.
not.
It's
$3.50
one
is
of those
not real money.
It's
so-
one of those irrational marketing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it is.
Because I'll think to myself, I spend more about this than this on coffee every day,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I will buy more, and then it goes bad.
And then yeah.
There's
That's
thresholds.
fair.
Yeah, that's we trick ourselves constantly.
Yeah, it's
into
around like
various
it's
things.
right around $5. Like if it's under $5, I'm like, oh, that's not real money.
Yeah, my coffee costs more.
Give me 74 of them. I mean, it's not real.
I mean, if it's not
Speaking
real
of
money.
which, and speaking of announcements, data miners have cracked, and loot boxes are coming to Fallout 76, despite all the claims that they did that wasn't
Really?
going to happen. Surprise!
Wow.
Surprise! Loot boxes are coming to Fallout 76.
Here's my
It's officially coming. It may be in the code itself, but
They
it may
coded.
not actually...
They coded to have in this last update from like a week
Oh,
ago.
okay.
They added code for loot boxes to be in the game
Okay.
and have screenshots of the 1, 3, or 5 at a time purchase quantities for loot boxes. If it isn't stuff they found from long ago, this is brand new. The new code.
So here's the thing: you and me are never going to buy that game.
Correct. It's just hilarious to me that they keep heaping shit on top of the game that is bad press.
Well, also, but here's the thing: it's bad press. But if it's all cosmetic, who gives a fuck? There's no negative in that. If it's cosmetic,
These loot boxes aren't cosmetic.
well,
The just buys are cosmetics. The loot boxes, the code shows what they are, and they're experience boosts, damage boosts, radiation resist, speed boosts.
Yeah.
They are performance enhancing loot boxes.
if that comes to the game, that would be the
The
killing blow.
PEDs.
Until
PELs.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they just want to be put out of their misery at this point
Yeah.
before
It's
the
hard to
GDPR
say.
claim gets hit.
the
finally.
problem is, like I said, I guess you and I look at it differently. It's a game I'm never going to buy, and I always look and watch a patch and go, maybe they could turn things around and make some people happy. But like the last patch, they made some minor little change in one little thing, and there was like 12 articles about how this one quest didn't give everyone in the can a thing.
That was very dumb.
There's so much that now people just want to attack every little thing. The loot box that gave in-game benefits would deserve anything you would get that would negative if that actually happened.
The quest thing was extra dumb because in that patch, the patch which we now know introduces the coding to get loot boxes that increase your experience gain, they also reduced overall the amount of experience gain that people got in the game. So the patch reduced XP and also introduced loot boxes to gain XP.
Well, there are no loot boxes in the game.
Not yet.
I feel like you and I feel when we discuss this, it's kind of like we're arguing. We both are on the same point. We're both taking the same actions. We obviously both agree.
Yes.
But you're taking like the person who shall not be named approach to the same topic from a Milwaukee person. It's like you're going so extreme that you got to take it back just a little bit. Because I
dare
agree, but you're very similar to that. Is all I'm saying.
dare you?
They who will not be named, out of Brian's politeness.
Sure.
But you're in that zone, a danger zone. I agree, but take it down.
We'll talk about it afterwards.
Apparently.
You guys are all looking at each other.
You don't add the coding for loot boxes if it ain't coming.
Yeah.
So-
it seems very suspect.
There was a guy that was did a little article about Fallout 76 that could have
Yeah.
changed the entire game. Basically, if Bethesda had told the truth from the get-go.
Yeah.
When they came out at E3 and said, "Hey, we're going to have Fallout 76. This is going to be a in-progress thing, and we want you all to come in and join
Experience it.
and experience and try to build this game from the ground
They'd
up."
still complain. See, that kind of
But
video
that would have
annoys
been.
me.
But that would have been.
The increasing
When they-
bungling is just comedic at this point.
They have stumbled, and then they keep making poor choices, and some of their PR people are pretty bad at their job. That is evident. But any kind
It
of
turns
game
out PR people might just be getting worse across the board. Like, I went back and watched the video from the Diablo mobile announcement.
you guys have phones, don't
and I
you?
was like, this guy has a job in PR?
Or does
Dear
he-
God.
The question is, does he still have a job?
Well, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think
Oh, Lord Almighty.
Like, maybe just
all
PR
the
is a
developers
dying
are
art.
hacks or
if they
Diablo Immortal.
all Blizzard had to do. Well, first of all, I do agree. See, even there, I think the game was overreacted. I do think Blizzard made the mistake of hyping Diablo.
They did.
If they would have said, hey, if they would have hyped the fact that Diablo, because Diablo 4, would they hopefully be ready, but it wasn't, was
Right.
a big problem. Because saying, hey, we're having a mobile game for Blizzard for Diablo is
If
kind of
they had
neat.
just announced it on a random Tuesday, it
Yeah.
would have been great news.
Yeah.
Making it the keynote
Yeah.
speech of
Yeah.
BlizzCon was fucking idiotic.
Even
The
like
way
a
I put
day,
it,
yeah, that was
the
mean.
analogy I went like, if you like get your kid new socks, and like, here you go, kid, got you new socks. Oh, thanks, Dad. Thanks for the socks. box. But if you hype up that they're getting a pony for Christmas, and then there's a big pony-shaped box, and they open it excitedly, and there's fucking socks inside the box, they will stab you to death. And that's what it fucking is. It's not the socks that are to blame. It's the buildup and the disappointment.
Yeah.
Just give them the fucking socks.
Just be honest. We're releasing Diablo Mobile because this will make our budget for the rest
And
of
it's
the
not even a
eternity.
Blizzard create. It's
not.
not even them making their own version. It's like some of the company that's made games were just they're just licensing.
We
and
paid
changing-
the people who make ripoffs of Diablo to reskin one of their Diablo ripoffs to look like Diablo so that you would give us money.
And so it floods the Asian market and we get money.
Yeah. It's fine.
Because
It's
there's
fine.
all this money that someone else is getting,
Yeah.
and we would like to get that.
Just do that on a random
Anything-
Tuesday.
yeah.
Don't fucking keynote speech it and expect not to be torn to pieces.
And the thing is, it wasn't even that. It's not even the initial announcement. I watched both. The initial announcement was like a little tone deaf, and that's fine. But then when he comes back out and he's like, "Well, you guys all own phones, don't you?" He's like, "Whoa!"
Because they're trying to turn it around, and they just drove it straight into the fucking ground.
companies need to get a little bit of reality check. Like I hope they learn from that, and I hope Bethesda learns from Fallout 76. I mean, they haven't.
Bethesda hasn't learned from a mistake they've made in like 10 years. So.
Well, I mean, they.
But I love
This
Fallout
is
4.
really
This is
big
worse.
compared to the other ones.
Yeah, I still enjoy Fallout 4 quite a bit. And
exactly.
And I haven't even considered buying 76. I mean, I've looked at it. I mean, I've considered the idea of buying it, but then once I knew I had to wait till it came out in reviews, I'm like, well, I just can't buy this.
I mean, things like Fallout 4, like I played a billion hours of Fallout 4. I mean, it's a good game, but it fails in all the exact same ways that every Bethesda game for the last 20 years has failed, right? It's just Bethesda has their thing that they do, and they're not interested in these little quality of life iterations.
My
that
problem
have
is
repeat,
every
and it's
Bethesda
fine.
game requires a third-party mod to
Sure.
patch it.
Yep.
Even Skyrim is considered. We could say how bad Skyrim fails, but people are like, that game is just failed. It was awful. I mean, I only put 7,000 hours into it, but my God.
And the same bugs are in Skyrim that were in fucking Morrowind because they don't bother to fix it.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Or
Or more
more importantly,
importantly,
the game anyway. So what do
the
they
same
care?
bugs are currently in Skyrim that were fixed by modders in previous editions of Skyrim.
Right. Yeah.
Just fucking implement the fixes, you lazy pieces of shit.
Yeah,
They don't
Unmoddable
care.
Skyrim editions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, the
like,
Switch edition that can't
Hey,
be modded.
there's a VR Borderlands 2 edition coming out.
Yeah, I know. I
speaking of
definitely
edition.
looked at the pricing on that thing, and Borderlands 3 is coming out.
Next year.
But Bethesda has these failures that they don't care about fixing.
Right.
But this is different. Like
Well,
this
it's only
is so
different-
much bigger.
I would argue that it's only different because there are other games things like modding could happen. Like, yes, there are other things that are going wrong here, but if this game were a moddable game, if Fallout 76, like some random schmo that modded Fallout 4 and made Fallout 4 more enjoyable could just like mod Fallout 76 for me, and then I could play that modded Fallout 76, we'd be having a very different conversation. This is the first time they've been like, well, we can't let modders in because it's competitive, and so you can't mod it. And then we're like, well, okay, but then you really do have to do these fixes now.
Yeah, you have to actually take care of your
Yeah, like
But
you
they
can,
don't.
you can come out with Fallout 5 and it can still be the same thing it always was.
Yeah,
and,
someone will
and then
have the patch
and then
ready
I'll
for
wait
it,
a
right?
month and then I'll mod it, or a week usually, and I'll mod it, and it's great, and I don't give a shit. But Fallout 76 is unmoddable, and that's the problem.
Yep.
Everything else that they've done wrong with it was that initial problem, and then they were like, well, I know how we can fix this initial problem by lighting it on fire.
By claiming Canvas doesn't exist.
The concept isn't.
Sorry, guys, the world ran out of Canvas.
Yeah.
And that's why you should see Spider-Man into the verse.
Yeah, you're a YouTuber. You get a free canvas bag.
That's how they ran out of Canvas, was giving away too many
Fucking
free Canvas bags.
YouTubers. God damn it.
it was
the best
funny.
part about that is the data breach that happened immediately as people were signing up for their canvas bags when they finally said, "Yay!"
I mean, that's the real problem for Bethesda, because if those were EU users, they might go out of business from the fine.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're not. Most of them. Or at least enough of them are.
Enough of them, they might be safe. Otherwise, it's at least
all I gotta
5%
say-
of their...
Also, that whole EU thing, it'll be interesting to see how that gets enforced.
Yeah.
All I care about is as long as Bethesda still lasts for like the next 3 to 4 months for me to get my Doom Eternal.
Sure.
I'd say they'll make it that long.
Just let
They'll be
them
fine.
live. I mean, well, at least they're not
They
publicly traded.
they
so that's
have
good.
their next Skyrim is going to be huge. I mean, they got some pretty big things coming out. Well, they
got that one in space.
I mean, that was still a
It
true
is.
statement.
Yeah.
Skyrim plus one.
Yeah,
No,
whatever-
and just they have at
It's
least...
Oblivion 3. Sure.
Skyrim
Skyrim
plus
2.
but it'll make a fuck ton of
I'll
money.
play it. I'm going to play the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I don't even care.
I mean, if those games weren't making a fuck ton of money, they'd stop. They
I
have
played
to,
the shit out of Oblivion, and in Oblivion, you lose the game by sleeping. Or no, was that Morrowind? Which one was the one where you'd like, man, I'm doing really good, my skills are great, and then you'd go to sleep and you'd wake up because the way that the balancing for the environment worked, like if you slept, your character went up in power by 2%, and the rest of the game went up in power by 300%. And you're like, oh, I guess I lose.
Well, and it was done with Oblivion because it all scaled up based on, so your skills increased by doing stuff,
Right.
But after enough of your skills had increased, the whole world would level up.
There were
but,
thresholds.
Yeah, there were thresholds, and that so you would have to build your character. It's like, I'm a wizard, so my tag key skill is going to be melee combat.
Yeah.
That way, I never accidentally level up the world. And when I'm ready to level up the world, I'll just go punch a wall for 5 minutes to level up my punching skill.
Yeah.
It was the gamiest dumb shit.
It was.
You would just jump in a corner punching a wall because you would put athletics and melee
I just remember
combat.
jumping everywhere in the world with your athletics.
Yeah. Just whatever you do, don't make the skills you're actually going to use be your character's key skills because the game's that badly designed. And I played 1,000 hours of it.
I didn't care.
Every merchant psychically knows that you stole that apple half a continent away somehow.
It's amazing how a good role-playing story you can forgive so much and keep playing.
You can.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's almost criminal.
Which is the other thing about Fallout 76 is that it doesn't have that key thing.
I think
you can't forgive all the Bethesda shit when there's no story to hide it.
These companies only exactly. I mean, these companies only learn when they lose money. They don't learn. That's why they don't learn those same bugs in all those Fallout games. They're like, well, everyone still bought it. But everyone still played it. They've sold a lot less. They're seeing the impact now. They're seeing a financial impact. They are.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I saw the numbers and the numbers I saw were specifically from the UK, and it was physical editions only, so it doesn't take into account the fact that digital download's a thing, but it was still down 84% from Fallout 4.
Okay, so pretty
I
significantly.
mean, even when you factor in a percentage of digital sales, that's still not
probably
84%.
So financially, they've seen
And it was
impact.
half off on Black Friday a lot of places, despite only being like 2 weeks old.
Yeah.
A game that's doing like Red Dead didn't go on sale for Black Friday because people are still paying full price for it. Yeah, it is very, very obviously not doing well.
So occasionally a company needs to have a game to fail because they give them a chance to step to the next game to be even better, or they double down and get worse and
that's the
But
coin flip.
but at least they have a moment now where the next game could come out and redeem themselves, or they could fuck themselves,
Or they fuck themselves and the next game comes out and doesn't come from them. Then what happens instead is like Obsidian releases Future Worlds or Outer Worlds rather. That kind of thing happens. Like the mistake is seen, and then it's up to Bethesda to make the new one or somebody else to do it for them. Somebody's gonna do it.
Well, Outer Worlds, and Cyberpunk, you got massive store games coming out from other companies now that are probably going to be better.
I was saying, there's a quote from one of the head guys for the PlayStation saying, our evidence has shown people are buying single-player games, so we're encouraging our primary parties to make more of them.
Yeah. I mean, God of War won the Video Game Awards top game of the year. And
I think that
that's over Red Dead.
The people who keep making Star Wars Battlefront, they keep saying we want a single player fucking game. Like they're eventually going to make if they make a good Star Wars single player game, they'll make a $1 billion dollars.
They own the fucking. Just make KOTOR. Just make a new KOTOR, just write a story, just make fucking
But
KOTOR.
I like having bought KOTOR less times than Nate's bought Diablo. I'm not that far behind.
Hell, fucking reskin KOTOR for my PlayStation 4. I don't even care.
I did reload that game. I was like, my God, this is just, I can't
Good
handle
news,
it.
the people who made KOTOR are making Outer Worlds.
I know. But it won't be Star Wars, right? Outer Worlds is technically...
It's space, though. But it's still space.
It's still space, don't get me wrong. It's still space. I'm still excited.
Unfortunately, EA still owns the Star Wars license for 3 more years.
But EA, the thing is, that Star Wars license, it's... Oh, God, Star Wars.
Sure.
I mean, they're going to yank the license and give it to someone else.
Well, EA's pretty mad. But whoever the EA license, they're pretty mad. They keep yelling at them, too, so they eventually could have someone make it.
I'll say, after Battlefront 2, they're getting the license yanked when it's up. They just can't afford to yank it.
Unless somehow they bring it out back the next 2 years, but it seems unlikely.
Either way, we win. Either we get a good game or someone else gets a chance.
That's what I was saying. Once the mistake is made, someone's going to make a better game, and it's up to the people who fucked up, whether it's them or someone else.
Yep, exactly. It's fun to watch.
It'd be more fun to just have good games.
There are still good games.
There are still a lot of...
There are.
Mm-hmm. And the other issue is there's a bubble to these fucking the multiplayer games, right? Because they introduce these things every year. A new game comes out that you need to devote 40 hours a week to, otherwise you can't fucking play it. And people have a finite amount of time, right? There's only
young
so
people.
much.
That's the problem.
But each one person has to pick one or two of those games.
Sure.
That's the thing, is like there's a point where there's too many of those games. They all just have to start
Oversaturation.
failing because people can't. You can buy God of War, play it, and then you're done. And then you buy Horizon Zero Dawn, and then you buy Spider-Man, and then you buy Dark Souls, and you buy and you play them, and you're done.
And that's a
But-
year for me for gaming.
Right, and but you can buy every one of those
Right.
games. But if you
Wait, that has been my
have to
year.
devote your life to doing nothing but playing fucking Fortnite 24/7 because you can't play anything else because that's how the game is made, you're not giving a penny to another game.
But the problem is, what all these companies are seeing, these people that have never played a video game in their entire lives,
Yeah.
are seeing is they're just like, well, Fortnite's everywhere. We should make Fortnite. Let's make Fortnite.
Someone already did.
But they don't. They
Somebody
don't
already
get that.
made Fortnite.
But
It's
they
right
don't-
there.
but they don't get
Make
that.
something else.
They don't get that.
Yeah.
And so
But
the problem is going to be,
but they know they can make a game like that, use the same idea, take less effort, and get a good chunk of that.
and they'll get just a chunk of that money because people are like, oh, it's like Fortnite. I'm going to play that. Like that's the thing is, for the next 5 years, we're going to see 1,000 Fortnite clones.
Right, but the issue is...
Hold on. Fortnite is a clone.
Yes.
But
but
Fortnite was just a zombie wave building combat game. That's
Yeah.
all it was originally.
But the issue is, let's say there's 1 million people that play Fortnite, okay, just for a number.
Sure.
And then you make a Fortnite ripoff and you steal 100K
Sure.
of those people. 8 more games can also make and steal 100K, and then the next one can only, like, where are they getting their players from?
Well,
are they
they're-
stealing 10K of your 100? Because now that person's only getting 10,000
Well,
players.
no, the problem is your ripoff is trash, and so those 100,000 people that bought yours are like, well, but maybe this next one. I need a hit. I'm going to buy this next one. And so then those same
Good, then you
100,000
failed.
people buy the next fucking one.
Right.
Because they bought, well, but the
Which
problem
shows
is,
that your investment was a failure.
no, because in the third quarter where you were trying to impress your shareholders, you sold 100,000 copies of Fortnite blah. And that's
Right.
all they care about.
And then we dropped the servers.
Right.
And then we just dropped the servers, and
So-
it's fine. They made money.
Then you aren't making your loot box money over the long term, which is what they're shifting to.
That's true. But,
Like, they don't care about the initial sales anymore.
except not every game company is understanding how a good loot box works either. They're all trying to. They're all introducing loot boxes.
They're all
Right.
trying.
They
but
all understand that that's where the money is.
But they don't understand how to implement it in a way that
Correct.
works.
Well, I think everyone that tries to do it, other than like anyone where they do it where it really it's like pay to win, those don't succeed as well as the pay to enhance like visually. That model is working pretty well. But when it's like your game can
I
pay
mean,
to
if it's true
enhance,
pay to
that's-
win, it's like the mobile games where you have to accept that 1% of your player base is your entire funding stream.
Right,
Yeah.
except that those games are making so much. Like EA's biggest moneymaker for the last year, and this is embarrassing because I play the fucking game, is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Not any of those other games, and I'm not a whale. I don't spend the money for that. But they have people. I am in Discord with people that have spent over $100,000 on a fucking mobile game.
But those people, how much? Some people make a lot of money.
Some
though,
of those
too.
people do make a lot of money.
So it's like,
but the thing is, EA, the lesson EA is learning is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is how we make money. Just sell pay to win to 1% of the player base, and you get rich.
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
lesson they're
look at-
learning.
But the issue and the
GTA
reason
Online, same thing.
exactly.
the reason that I've always said I'm against this shit, and it's not just me, but the issue isn't the hedge fund manager with $100 million who spent $100,000. The issue is the person with $100,000 that spent $150,000 because they're addicted.
So this isn't the guy that he didn't spend $100,000. I know a guy that got divorced because he spent $50,000 on Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. So his wife left him and took his 2 fucking kids.
Correct.
And he thinks he's coming out a winner. He's on Discord thinking he's winning life.
Right.
His
And
wife
those
left
people,
him.
Those people are
Have you met
prey.
her? Boom.
His wife left him.
So that's my issue.
I say, and I'm not saying I was that bad, but that was one of the reasons I stopped playing that game was because I knew I was spending too much.
Right. And I have just barely enough self-control not to spend that kind of money. It's hard.
And you still dabble deals.
I probably put a couple $100 in, maybe even $300.
Because they do
But
make
like-
those ridiculous deals. You're like,
Yeah, I can't buy this.
I'm an idiot.
I ran the numbers and I was a digit higher than I did. And then I'm like, I'm out.
About. And the thing is, I'm still able to play the game because I managed to not. If I had hit where you guys were, I'd had to do the same thing. I would have had to quit. Like I looked at the.
Well,
money-
you had to. You also had someone who'd stab you to death if you didn't.
Yes. Well, no, she'd just leave me and take the kids.
You are right. They prey on the weak, but you know
They
what?
do, but it
That's what
works.
companies are for.
The problem is, it fucking works.
You're not wrong, and that's
say-
a shame.
I know I'm not wrong. It's like
The tobacco company execs had to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
speaking of things
Yeah.
being a shame, Miss America before the Miss University thing, Miss Universe thing, she made some bad comments about a couple other contestants because they couldn't speak English very well, and people gave her a lot of crap for it. It's Miss America. That's very American. Why are we mad at Miss America for making fun of people who can't speak English?
That is accurate to America
She's
currently.
literally
Yeah.
representing
You
America.
can't give someone shit for that when they are Miss America, because that's So speaking of people companies being shit, it just reminded me of the same like level-headed nonsense.
Yeah. I would.
Did she put a 7-year-old brown child in a cage until it died?
It's hard to say.
Goddamn. I would like to think that the video game companies will learn
Other
the lesson.
countries, hopefully.
But my point is, they're not learning the lesson.
Yeah.
Well, the other issue too is that there's a finite amount of money that companies, because they keep on going
the
out
other-
and say we made $20 million this year. I'm throwing a number out there. We made $20 million this year. Well, we should make it $30 million.
Yeah, next year we should make
and then we should
$30
make it $40
A great
million.
analogy I heard is they always talk, they want growth. They want growth, they want growth, they want growth. Staying steady is enough, they want growth. Unchecked growth is called cancer, and it kills things.
Yeah, but
That
if-
is fucking...
But if
you
those
can't.
people make the money, who cares? It's
They don't care.
But there's a limit where you can. There's a finite amount of money out there,
Yeah.
and if you're always
But
demanding
those
more, it's
people,
impossible.
But the people who got the money can just leave and go away. It's like
Yeah, they just go away. And you just have to show growth for a year and then retire as a billionaire, and then you don't give a shit.
But it's shit like, so Capcom declared Resident Evil 7 a failure because it didn't sell 10 million copies.
Yeah.
At the time of its release, their highest selling game ever had sold like 6 million copies.
Yeah.
What's the fucking
And the
brain
fan
where they're
base was all like,
growth?
this is the right direction. Everyone who played it was like, this is the way you should take the game because it's
This is great.
amazing.
Yeah.
It was a huge step up. It was phenomenal. Yeah.
10, like they set an expectation that was nearly double their previous best, and then we're all like, the game didn't make it, it sucks, and that's the fucking issue.
Well, the other...
Corporations are terrible. Look at
Yeah.
so many movies come out and they know they don't even care if the movie's bad. It's will it make money, and it made money. It was a bad movie.
Was
but
it
people-
cheap to make, and then the people came and paid for
Yeah,
it?
I don't
Great,
care.
Don't care.
We'll throw it shit as long as people see it. Obviously, it's not shit enough. It's just it's acceptable.
Or
shit.
alternatively, do we make it in the right spot for this to be conveniently a failure so we can knock off
Right.
our tax burden?
Exactly.
Or
That too.
this
Yeah.
movie's plot is super good, but this aspect of the storyline doesn't sell well in China. Gut it.
And it's gone.
Same thing with games. As long as it, I mean,
Well, and the loot box, like you were talking about, loot boxes will get better. The problem with loot boxes is they take 30 cents to implement, and so if they make 60 cents,
Yeah.
they doubled their profit.
Yeah, no, I mean, the issue with loot boxes is that it is undeniably gambling, and the laws haven't caught up to it yet.
Right.
And when it becomes illegal to sell a video game with loot boxes in it to
It's
anyone
illegal
who's
in China.
17 or younger...
Star Wars Galaxy of
Correct.
Heroes had to post
But when
for
a-
all of the things you can purchase, the percentage chance for everything in China, and so like they and then the rest of the world they were like, no, don't worry, it's fine.
And the best, so eventually it's going to get regulated, right? And how fucking bad is it for these organizations when they can't sell any games with loot boxes in America or the EU to people under 18? That's disastrous for them.
Yeah.
So they tried to self-regulate themselves to take the heat off, and they did it by labeling every game that has in-game purchases available. The issue is that treats loot boxes the same as buying an expansion.
Yeah.
So The Witcher 3 has the same stamp on it as Overwatch.
Yep.
It's not the same fucking thing.
Nope. But that's how they managed to dodge it.
Yeah,
For another
well,
few
not
years.
legally. Like, they're doing it to try to appease, but the FEC's like, you know what, we're going to start actually looking into this shit.
Companies-
And countries are starting to ban it.
companies don't care about it.
Once again, they're having EU problems.
Right. They don't care about doing the right thing, but they need to be smart and look like they care about the
Yeah.
right things so that they don't get fucked over by the
Create
government.
illusion. Yeah. Well, but things are so bad today. Half these companies don't even pretend with you. They're like, fuck it. We're all dead in 30 years, so there's no more illusion. Fuck
true.
you all.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That is true.
Yay.
Good
And
times.
that's why I don't own a home.
I own a home so that the invading Canadian armies can use it as a base in the eventual World War III.
I mean, they can all fit in it.
It's also a good place to hide bodies.
There was some game
That
that
is
came out
true.
this year that sold like a crazy amount that I can't remember what game it was.
And they still called it a
and
failure.
they just called it.
They
a
still do.
failure.
Yeah. Oh no, it was fuck.
The game?
I don't remember that game.
I
play
know
it.
exactly what the game was. It was like, was it the new Call of Duty? Because like it only sold like 500,000 copies in the first minute instead
Call
of.
Duty just came out. Yeah, they were like,
That just came
But
out.
I'm okay with that being called a
But
failure.
in its first week, it sold like
it made $500 million.
it made $500 million, and that was a disappointment because the one last year made $501 million. So this is obviously an abject failure because it needed to make $20 billion to be proof that it worked.
I think your numbers are off by a little bit, but I get the idea.
Well, I
Not
mean,
much.
but I believe it was like $500 million. It made a ton of money.
Oh, I believe this. I believe the story.
I've also heard it's good, and I might get it.
I've actually heard that the Battle Royale mode is actually pretty good.
Is that the one that's?
I heard the single player storyline's actually surprisingly good for Call of Duty 2.
Because it doesn't exist.
I thought it did.
No, Call of Duty does not have single player in it.
Battlefield added single player.
That might be
That's
the one.
why.
That's the one I'm
That's another
thinking
reason
of.
about the EA
Oh,
Premium.
Oh, maybe it was Battlefield.
Battlefield might have been the one that was.
No.
failed.
Well, Battlefield also severely underperformed though, but it was Call of Duty. I could have sworn it was Call of Duty 4 that sold
Interesting.
500 million and they called it a failure.
Well, I mean, these are also so it's like we strive for these single player games that everyone loves, and they come out so slow. It's like you get only a couple a year, but then when it comes this time of year, you get 6 companies making their World War II game again,
Yeah.
and of course a couple of them are going to fail because they're so fucking
Yeah.
saturated.
And EA Sports has to pump out a new edition of everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all of those people, but those fan bases are just buying every year. Those
those
EA
fan-
Sports,
those fan
they'll
bases buy them
buy
all. Sure.
everyone.
Well, and it's also just because they don't want to be...
Bro, you gotta get the new EA.
Yeah, well, and that's because they can't really loot box.
Yeah, they
actual
don't.
people.
Yeah.
Well,
Those EA Sports games are littered with like pay to win loot boxes. They make so much money off them.
Oh yeah, FIFA especially.
Yeah, FIFA.
FIFA and NBA, those are.
You wouldn't be able to kick the
insane
soccer.
cash
You wouldn't be able to kick that ball. It'll cost you $1.
Bro, have you played Spider-Man?
Bro,
That doesn't work. Sorry.
No.
I was reading. What the fuck is happening here?
We all became Chads while you were looking at your phone.
Also, we signed you up for an EA Sports.
no!
You have to play baseball.
Yeah, to be fair, if you want to, you can play football.
No.
You got to play NBA.
Oh, wait, yeah, actually,
Is it-
no, you get to play Mike McCarthy the game.
Sorry.
Well, it's
Bada boom.
actually not so bad. You get to live in mediocrity for a long time.
Yeah, no, the whole game is you just press a button and you throw a red flag, and then the game pauses for 30 seconds, and then it spends one of your timeouts.
But no, my favorite thing is the tribute to Mike McCarthy that happened at the Packer game. Because our new coach threw out 2 challenge flags immediately in 1minute and 8 seconds into the game, and then both 2 times.
Yeah, one of my friends was telling me about this, and I wanted to know if you were there.
That's amazing.
You know that? Yeah, he just challenge, fuck it, done.
Also, hello, new head coach of the Packers. I didn't know you listened to us.
I mean, that's great.
It's an amazing tribute to Mike McCarthy.
Fucking Mike McCarthy. I like the picture. There's a photo of like him and Ted Thompson, and Ted Thompson's going, "Go Pack!" And then McCarthy's like, "Yeah, go Pack!" And Thompson's like, "No, literally, go Pack."
It's a good one.
All right, so should we go Zappity Grumble?
And I'm Brian.
You guys better finish.
Rubik's Cube. Is this purple? I'm taking this. It fascinates me.
I'm guessing we're back on Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, we're back into Spider-Man.
We never really left Spider-Man.
No.
Every discussion was about Spider-Man.
Yeah, they play a lot of Keyforge in Spider-Man. There's a weird subplot. The Kingpin's just into Keyforge.
It's a weird subplot, I agree.
Fucking love the design on Kingpin.
Yeah.
Also, by
Very
the way.
the hulkiness.
Yeah.
Quick, weird spoiler thing. How did Kingpin get into the train? They show him exiting the train properly, but they
Yeah.
don't show him entering the train.
Yeah, well, he came in through a door or something while Spider-Man was
There's no
distracted.
way.
He made
There's no way.
he made a door.
Well, they didn't show a hole in it.
Well, he
It's an
found a hole.
unregistered superpower.
Yeah, he got
Yeah.
it.
Also,
That's also-
weird shit was happening where they were fighting. I'm okay with
Yeah, the
people.
dimensions were colliding at the time.
Yeah,
It's not really
okay,
high on the
fine.
list of things to worry about.
Also,
Like, the better question would be, why is there a
You're
train
you're
flying
my
through
Peter,
the air
but
in the
older
first
and
place?
Thicker.
Yes, you're a different shape. I think you just called me fat.
I get it.
Those sweatpants, oh my god.
I realized about halfway through that whole sequence that he was just wearing sweatpants.
Yeah.
He just had his shirt on with sweatpants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his pants got torn up, and then you probably just couldn't fit into him anyway.
Yeah.
So, he just pulled on sweatpants. One of the Spider-Mans is a little fat and out of shape because he's been Spider-Man-ing for too long, so he's just wearing sweatpants.
Nice.
With his big old pizza gut.
I would pay money to go see a grizzled Peter Parker movie.
I mean, they've already announced a sequel and a spin-off, so...
Oh, amazing. It'll probably be Spider-Gwen. It'll be
The spin-off, they said, is focusing on female characters in that mythos, so it'll almost definitely be Spider-Gwen, and maybe they'll have Silk in it. There's plenty of cool female characters in there.
From Aunt May.
Aunt May, sure. They could have Mayday Parker.
Is that Spider-Man's kid?
That is a different version where MJ didn't have a miscarriage. Their kid became a superhero, and it's Mayday Parker. Who?
So, are we doing Zappity?
Zappity grumbles.
All right. Again, these are still... we should teach our audience how to do Zappity Grumble questions.
Jim, pay attention.
Well, he's always the one that's giving us one anyway.
I demand a 20-minute long treatise on this topic.
If you had a sandwich named after you, what would be in it?
Oh, no, see, that's fine.
Well,
It's actually not too bad.
that's not
That's a
bad.
good one.
Well, actually, then Nathan then goes, better yet, describe the other guy's sandwiches.
I mean, Brian's is easy. It's crackers and raw eggs on bread.
If it was on a sandwich, it needs meat, so there's some ham in there. But otherwise,
Gross.
You could take some summer sausage and just grind it up and put it in there.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah, just ham and raw egg on cracker. That's
Yeah.
a sandwich.
Yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah, you would.
I would. That's not even a...
That's a
In
future
fact, not a peanut butter jelly.
Brian's
That's
going
weird.
home and doing that.
Yeah,
Peanut butter jelly is just bizarre.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
I just grilled cheese.
Dude, I'll stand by. It's a combo that no one believes, but peanut butter, pickles, and mayonnaise.
Nope. Out.
Cool.
It's good.
Nope.
Peanut
No.
butter, bread and butter, pickles, and mayonnaise.
I mean, don't get me
Wait,
wrong.
hold
butter
on. You made it
pickles,
worse.
Not sweet pickles.
Oh, just any other pickles other than dill are the worst.
Dill I eat in whole or wedges. Slices I like bread and butter, but the dill works too. But
Hey, our podcast is live right now.
peanut butter, pickles, and mayonnaise. Gross.
Dan?
I'm still thinking.
For me, it would be a fried egg sandwich with cheese. I love fried egg sandwiches. I really do.
That I eat them almost once a week.
Yeah. Fried egg, cheese.
He doesn't cook 'em.
fried
Well, I don't
egg,
do the cheese.
bread.
I leave the cheese out.
And he does.
Right.
But
He
you
doesn't
live,
cook
you,
the
live,
egg.
you live with Katie. Whatever you make has cheese thrown in.
No,
it.
this is something I make myself that I enjoy.
I still imagine, even if you weren't there, you can make whatever you want. Katie would just throw cheese on it.
To be fair, I also love cheese.
I love cheese too, but cheese
Everybody
puts on
loves
everything.
cheese.
Yeah, what's wrong with cheese?
It's
Brian?
literally addictive.
But I mean, actually, she'll make like Cheerios and throw cheese in there. I think I don't understand why you're.
I
having,
mean, milk is just liquid
Sounds-
cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything with cheese. She
I don't see
can't-
what's wrong with what you're saying
everything-
right now.
She's never made something without cheese.
You know what's
It's all the same.
annoying is that there's no fucking eggnogs shakes at McDonald's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
what the hell?
I realized this a couple weeks ago when I said, "Would you guys have them?" They said, "No." I said, "Are they coming this year?" They said, "No," and then I was in jail. I blacked out.
You know, Brian, the most shocking thing about my friendship with you is that I've been friends with you now for many years, and I have never, in the middle of the night, been called by a police department saying, "Will you accept a call from Brian Giese?" That has never happened, and I'm shocked every year when
My
it doesn't
company,
happen.
for a couple $1 a month, you get lawyers.
Yeah.
So
Also, Jeremy, we can't arrange this.
We
Every
accepted
year it
a
goes
call
by and that
from-
doesn't happen. I'm like, man, that's surprising.
We accept a call from Wapong Correctional Institution
Exactly.
The thing is,
from a prisoner at.
Yeah.
I feel like Brian and I both realize that at some point we can just do Strangers on a Train.
Right.
Like, we can do the crisscross thing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
he can burn down a Topper's Pizza for me, and I will burn down a McDonald's, and we'll both have alibis.
I mean, that's just an assumption I've always made.
Correct.
It's like, obviously. And then I randomly practice it by just, sometimes
Just burning down Topper's Pizza.
Well, or just
I was
We're
saying,
trying to build that second
but
connection.
Nathan,
crimes that are hard to catch you is if you kill random people for no reason.
Correct.
That's the key when you murder someone. Random you don't know. and leave your phone at home. I mean, those are all. But, you don't want to kill someone with any connection to you because then they can figure that kind of shit out.
Also, buy new shoes before you do
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
obviously.
No, don't.
Hold on, Nathan. I need to rewind for a minute. What did the
Just steal
second
new
top-
shoes? Steal shoes from somebody
Oh,
else.
sure,
Don't
sure.
buy them because they can track that.
Sure.
I watched enough
What did
forensic
the
files.
second toppers do?
Well, just in general.
You don't like toppers?
The Toppers pissed me off for some reason. This is a callback to like 2 years ago. A Toppers Pizzeria pissed me off for some
Well, I mean,
reason.
everything.
And then
I
caught
don't
on fire.
I honestly don't remember what.
Because I said after the podcast I was going to go burn it down, and we were like, what would happen if, like, coincidentally the Toppers burnt down
down.
tonight?
And then it did. Or it caught on fire or something. But there was a fire in one of them.
My lawyers have advised me.
Oh, Arctic Circle does mention though the ham does sound like just uncooked meatloaf. The ham, eggs, and crackers.
Yeah, actually, that is basically.
Meatloaf tartare.
Man, I haven't had meatloaf in forever. Now I want meatloaf cooked, not Brian style, but
After
Well,
this,
when
let's
I
go
make-
get meatloaf and go see Into the Spider-Verse.
I make meatloaf every so often, and I make it with I do crackers instead of bread because you can choose.
Yeah.
And whenever I make it, I do have a little bit of leftover crackers and eggs, so it's always like a snack. So I get my meatloaf and I get my crackers, and it's
gross.
Well, it's
Fucking
like
raw eggs and crackers.
it's like they said in the news, don't eat
Raw
cookie
eggs.
dough or cookie dough because give you the you'll get that. But that's the best because that way you eat it, it's bad for you. Then you shit it out, you gain no calories. It's the
true.
best. It's the best.
It's kind of like bulimia.
Yeah.
Yeah, believe
Which
me,
is
but
always
the
a
other
good
way.
call.
It's ass bulimia.
Yeah.
believe
But
me.
again, it's good for weight loss. Yeah, it's a win-win.
as someone who poops 4 times a day, I can tell you it does not help me lose weight.
fair.
Because you're out racing it.
I can't even imagine if Jeremy had diarrhea. It would just be on the toilet
I'm still
consistently.
enjoying that sentence.
I'm just saying, when you poop 4 times a day, Andy, it's not all firm.
It's probably never
Something's
firm.
wrong with
Are you sure that none of it's just you peeing? Do you know what pooping versus peeing is?
Do you understand the concept of
I
the
do.
tooth fairy?
Just because you're sitting doesn't mean it's poop.
I'm aware.
All right, just checking.
Good job.
Exactly.
Grumble.
All right, if you had to make an alcoholic drink based on yourself, what would it have in it?
Crown Royal. Apple, Crown Royal, on the rocks. That would be a Jeremy. Done.
I would just go with vodka, Kahlua, and Bailey's.
Also a delicious choice.
Yes, I
See,
refuse to give
guys
it
are
the
just,
name.
you guys are just picking your favorite drinks. You're not
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
a drink based on yourself.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, at this point, the blind Russian is Andy.
Isn't Andy?
Sure.
Like Andy is like 20%.
It's also full of diabetes. as well,
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
I mean, and that's me.
Yeah. Like Jeremy's needs to be something that's nowhere near as good as it thinks it is, like Grey Goose.
Thanks.
And I don't like it, but gin, because it's just like harsh and unlikable and acrid and just fuck it.
You taste like pine needles?
Yeah, I've just something unpleasant, but for some reason people still enjoy having
Scotch.
it around them.
Scotch.
Scotch has like a mellow flavor. No part of me is mellow. I am pine needles in your throat.
The last time I tried Scotch,
He's not wrong.
I took a sip and went, holy shit, what did I just put in my mouth?
Bad Scotch.
You've just described Nathan.
Like I said, Nathan is Scotch.
Yeah, the point is I'm not
He's
a
an
mellow,
acquired
gentle
taste,
drink.
and if you spend time with him every day for several years, after a while, you don't notice how bad it tastes.
so
He's
he's
Yeah,
an
you're
American
dead.
Scotch.
an American Scotch.
And
yes.
everybody else who isn't, they're just like, how can you enjoy that?
Yeah,
That's
and
fucking terrible. And
Right.
you're like, I don't like You learn to like
You
it.
learn to like it. It's an
But
American
why would
Scotch.
you bother? Just don't. Yeah.
American
So I'm
Scotch.
just I'm a low quality hard alcohol. I'm going back to gin. Fleischmann's comes in a gallon plastic jug. Fleischmann's gin.
Wow.
It's so bad it's in gallons.
Yes.
Not
It's
in
like
plastic.
it's a
Well,
gallon
no.
plastic
Like I said,
jug for like $10.
The important
And
thing is
Woodman's-
gallon, not liter. It's gallons.
Nice. Zappity.
Grumble.
Yep. Brian's grenadine.
Yes,
And
Brian.
arsenic. He's sweet, but he will murder you.
Oh, the grenadine.
That's it. That's all there's diabetes.
Oh, that was easy.
Boy.
Do you have recommendations? Anybody?
Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse!
Yeah, I knew that was happening.
Hey, Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse! Also something else, because
You! Stop pointing.
You were pointing at me!
I'm pointing at you because you were pointing at me.
Spider-Man pointed first, obviously. It was fucking amazing. Then fine, just so not all, just you can do Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse with the pointing and the everything. This got a callback, but in the subtle movie moments thread, a conversation rolled around and people were discussing it. So if you are not at this exact moment currently watching Dredd, just watch Dredd. It's been too long since you watched Dredd.
That's a good movie,
6
Andy seen.
years.
It's a good movie, Andy seen.
6 years. I show that movie off all the time.
So I don't know when the last time you watched Dredd is, but it was too long ago.
There is another great movie that didn't make enough money, so they didn't make another one, even though
There's
everyone
Speed
fucking
Racer.
loved it.
They're still kicking around the TV show thing.
Yeah.
Like, there still is tiny progress towards the concept of the TV show, but, nothing solid yet.
God, everything about that movie is so perfect. Just his scowl that he has underneath there, he looks just like the comics.
The thing that I heard this time was that I never listened to was the sped up version of Mama's Sonata to actually hear what the song is when it's not at 1/1000th speed.
Oh.
There's actual lyrics to it.
But it has Sylvester Stallone.
No. Not falling for that.
There's only one thing I wish that was in the Stallone film is the Lawgiver. The Lawgiver motorcycle, I wish that was in the current Dredd.
No.
The bike. No, it's just the fat fucking
Sure.
tire bike. You look at the comics, Dredd is riding
Sure.
a monster of a bike.
Sure.
Bike. And the
That's
Dredd
why that movie's
film-
better.
Judge Dredd is a perfectly enjoyable, cheesy, goofy
Terrible
film.
movie.
It is. I will not hate on Judge Dredd. That
Especially
movie
if
is
you
actually
watch 15 minutes and stop. That's even better.
yeah.
Exactly. That's what I stopped.
Small chunks of that movie are amazingly bad in a fun way, but Dredd is legit amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It is a phenomenal
Fucking
great
art.
movie.
So he just comes out of the smoke, hurls the dude off the balcony, and then goes back into the smoke. Not even eye contact, just fuck you.
Yeah. That was a good year for being trapped in a building because that's the same year The Raid came out.
Correct.
It was like, man, being trapped in a movie in a building never had a better year.
Those are two. Yeah, The Raid is also a great movie. That
Well-
fight scene with is it Mad Dog? Is that the guy's name?
With the machetes? Or
No, the dude at the very end, not the machete, was like the guy that they end up with putting the light bulb through the throat,
Sure.
like that. The 2-on-1 fight against that guy.
That movie had the advantage. It was just better fist. It was a better fist
Yeah.
fight movie, but obviously, I still like Dredd more. But man,
Dredd has
Redemption-
him shooting napalm in slow motion and just watching people burn to death.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
They're both great though.
Yeah.
And Raid 2 has a hot chick with 2 hammers that never talks, and that's what I look for in a woman.
I've never
Two
seen
hammers.
Raids. I've never seen either one.
I love bad guy. Whenever you have a bad guy, you always give him the mute sociopath killer sidekick, like the Clockwork dude from Hellboy. Like, those are always amazing. I always love the mute killer. And so then it's a hot Asian chick, and she's just beating people to death with 2 claw hammers.
What's her name in that part 2 count because she's deaf and can't talk? So she just signs.
in
John
John
Wick
Wick
2?
2. Yes.
Yeah,
Ruby Rose?
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah, she fucking counts.
Yeah.
well,
yeah.
Tombstone was very quiet in Spider-Man as well.
Yeah. But no,
We didn't really
but
see Tombstone really do that much.
He pointed guns at somebody for a little while.
Yeah.
But no, I always like that. And so Raid 2 had one of those, just a chick with 2 claw hammers just beating people to death in a hallway. And it's like, you're awesome. I like you.
I'll have to watch those. I know I've been meaning to see them. Somebody needs to make me a list of movies
They're
I need
much
to see.
different movies, 1 and 2, but they're both enjoyable. They are surprisingly different than each other, but they worked.
Because Raid 1 is like Dredd. It's the stuck in a skyscraper. And Raid 2 is more like a Donnie Brasco. Like, it's a mafia undercover long con thing.
And then there's part 3, Train to Busan, where they're trapped in a train, but they're zombies.
Don't think that's technically a Raid movie, but I like your headcanon.
Yeah, and it's a good movie. So it's very and it's Korean. So
Train to
It's
Busan
Asian.
is a, I've watched that movie several
it's
times.
on Netflix. But it's on. That's my recommendation. Train to Busan. It's on Netflix. Watch it. If you don't, then you don't. But you're an idiot.
That
That's
is
okay.
true.
I forgive you. Andy hasn't seen it. I mean, it's a good movie.
Doesn't narrow it down.
For somebody like me that really enjoys movies, I'm very surprised at all the movies I don't.
Yeah, you're
watch.
basically the same level of Jeremy in many ways. So
I think I've actually seen more movies than him.
probably
No.
No, I you know what?
More
I
good movies.
Yeah, that's
No.
probably true.
Yeah, I think it might
I'm
be.
just thinking of great fight scenes in The Raid now.
Yeah.
Like when he kicks that guy through the door, and then he grabs someone else and pulls them back and head slams their throat onto the splinters of wood that are left over from kicking the other guy through the door. And it's just like, holy fuck.
The choreograph, yeah, it's good violence. It's pure uncut, high octane violence.
Right.
The best kind. Asian violence. They fucking know violence.
They sure do. And sometimes they do it in fictional movies, too.
Yeah. Indeed.
So there is a Kickstarter currently going on for a company called Folded Spaces. They do board game inserts. They're kind of a proprietary foam core type stuff, so they're very lightweight. I participated in the last one. It was a pretty good deal. I got my Twilight Imperium board organizer, which has like individual compartments for every race and all the stuff, and it was, I think, $35 with shipping.
Not bad.
And so they're doing it again, and now they have a third wave of stuff, so there's, I think, 50 or 60 games total that they have support for.
Did you know a neoprene playmat for TI4 exists?
Shit.
I have it. Speaking for you, it rolls out and it has the grid layout for 3, 4, 5, and 6 player map builds on it, and then space for like currency and stuff like that.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, that is a giant mat.
yeah.
It's not as big as the Firefly mat.
No, it isn't.
No.
It's a little bit big.
But just I thought you needed to know that there's a neoprene playmat you can buy for TI4.
Go fuck yourself.
Jeremy's table couldn't handle the mat for Firefly.
It could have. You weren't happy because I left the handle showing.
Yeah, the handles. It was.
Like, there was going to be a space on that giant gaming table line. There was going to be a space that big by that big that would have a small bump in it. There was going to be off in reaver space somewhere anyway. So who gives a shit? Brian was like, "Nope, can't use the big mat. We got to use a smaller one."
Your table.
What's wrong with your fucking table?
Nothing. My table is a
Someone
work of
it
art.
can't even handle the Firefly
damage.
mat.
Yeah,
Couldn't
couldn't
you
even
take
handle a
the-
simple like 8x4 map.
Couldn't you have taken that and flipped it out?
You can't flip it over. I could have moved it further down to the end, but Brian was like, "Nope,"
It'll
because
still
30
bother.
seconds ago it was there. It's in the way.
Yeah.
It's dead forever.
Yeah, and it was. That was true.
Do you have a recommendation,
I
Jimmy?
do. I'm actually going to recommend, and I think I talked to Brian about this, and he told me I was wrong and stupid, but I don't care what he thinks. The
we
Mistborn
just say
book
that
series.
anyways.
I started reading the Mistborn book series. I finished the original trilogy, and I just started Alloy of
Who
Law.
writes that?
Brandon Sanderson.
Oh no! That's I haven't. That's not done yet, right?
The Mistborn's done.
It's different trilogies. I
Yeah,
read
yeah.
the first trilogy.
So the first trilogy is really, really good, and I liked it. And then I bought one of the standalones in the same world called Warbreaker, which was really good. And now I'm starting the second trilogy, which is like
Many years later.
many years later.
Centuries later.
Like centuries later, and that's so far. I'm about halfway through the first book, and the second trilogy is also amazing. I highly recommend it. I mean, I like Brandon Sanderson stuff anyway, because there is a series of his that is in progress right now. The Words of Radiance, I think it's called.
I've heard that's also
It's
phenomenal.
amazing, but that one's not done yet.
It's like 3 out of 7 books. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna wait till that's like
I don't even
6
care.
out of 7. Maybe.
That series. It's so good. I'm glad I didn't wait till it was done.
I'm gonna
I
die
have
soon,
no
so I
regrets.
really am not gonna start a new series unless it's close to the end. I mean, I still have to wait 2 years to finish off the expansion. That's still iffy.
And I mean, yeah, but anyway, I really, really like Brandon Sanderson
I
stuff.
thought Mistborn was an adequate series. I did not dislike it. I thought it was good, but not good enough that if someone talked to me about it, I can remember anything about it.
I think
but
it's
I thought his
surprisingly
writing
good.
style was well. It just
And
didn't,
the
like,
third
pop.
book in the original trilogy, the way he the twists in the third book were really good. Like you read a lot of these like trilogies, these fantasy trilogies, and like the twist at the end, you're like, yeah, I saw that coming, or there's not much of a twist at all, and you're like, whatever. This had some really solid,
From
unexpected
the
twists
school
at
of
the end.
Brent Weeks, you didn't see that coming. You mean the title of that one book 7 books ago was the biggest thing in the world, you motherfucker?
Yeah, that was shocking.
I shit myself.
God damn, Brent Weeks. Oh man,
What?
I have trouble saying that Mistborn is as good as the Brent Weeks series, but it's pretty good.
Authors that are good at telling stories and
Which series?
twists. I'm not going to say anything.
No, because then you'll know.
Yeah.
It'll ruin the twist.
Oh, okay.
I mean, technically it won't, but it's still, I don't want
Technically
to.
it won't,
But it's
but
very,
it's-
it's a true statement that I'm not going to ruin anything about.
So good. Oh fuck.
Final
And that
book
series
next
not done
year.
either yet.
Next year's last book, though.
Damn,
Hey,
Brent
speaking
Weeks.
of books, what's the over-under on Martin dying?
I mean, he's going to
I mean,
die.
he's going to die.
I'm 100% he will die.
Sure.
I will put money on it.
He will die. The 6th book will be out because he's far enough along no matter what. Dance with Dragons will be out. The 7th book
Will
you're-
be written by Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah. I mean, I would be stupefied if book 7 came out written by George Martin.
Yes.
Or if book 7 came out by George Martin and it had any quality left in it because his writer, he hit writer's block, and that's fine. You know,
Yeah,
he
you hit
got
writer's block.
famous, he made money. money. He gets to travel. He doesn't care about the books
No, he
anymore,
doesn't care anymore.
and that's fine. HBO cared enough for me to enjoy the end. And
Right.
people are like, oh, it's not as good
You
as
don't
his
yet
writing.
know if you've enjoyed the end.
Sure, I don't.
If this next season could
We're
just
gonna find out in
shit the
April.
bed so hard.
There
As
were
long
things
as
I did-
Kyborn ends up happy, you're all right.
There were things I didn't like in this last season where they did it themselves, but I'm still enjoying seeing it fucking ramp up.
The funny thing about the last season is the biggest complaint is the pacing was too fast. And you know what? If that's a complaint
If
about
that's
a
a
Game
complaint-
of Thrones thing, I'm going to take that complaint and accept it.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
for fuck's sake, Martin went the other direction. So HBO sped it up maybe a little bit too much.
You don't like 500 pages of somebody drifting down a river?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what I come to Tyrion for,
That
is
happened-
500 pages
that
of
almost,
drifting down
I
a
think
fucking
that was
river.
maybe two full episodes of the show. 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, as somebody who's never read any of the books, though, last season felt like it was just going way too fast.
And that's fine. I mean,
They had a lot of shit to get done before the series is
Well,
over.
they solved the problem. Now the cast is small again, so now they can,
Yeah, they got the cast small again. That's for damn sure.
for the next 6 or 7. I think this is for the final 6.
I thought it was 8.
No, it's 6.
It's just
it's
6?
6 to 7. It's definitely not more than 7. I think it's only 6.
Holy shit!
Because this last season was 8, and I think this season is 6.
I do love that the teaser trailer for that was just ice and fire meeting, and then that's all. Fuck you! You don't get to know what happens.
That's good though.
I know. it
Yeah, I
is.
love that the Avengers
It is.
trailer gave us very, very little.
Katie thought the Avengers trailer gave too much.
Yeah,
she
but it was
upset
still,
about it.
I mean, I would have preferred nothing. So the fact that I thought it was very well restrained for a big. Disney wanted them to show more.
Oh yeah,
Sure, but in
definitely,
both
for
cases,
sure.
all they
Also-
need to do is show the date.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's all I would. Yeah, and then I'll just hand them my money, and then we'll just move on with the transaction.
Based on the previous Avengers movie, you do not know what they gave away.
Right.
Because it is very possible that any portion of the things they showed don't even happen in the film.
Correct.
Because don't forget that in the Infinity War trailer, they showed Hulk at Wakanda.
Yep.
Specifically to
As
fuck
Hulk.
with people. Yeah, that's what I said.
Well,
Hulk.
the other thing they did in the trailers for the first one, and I didn't even catch this. I was watching like a review of the trailer after the movie came out. Is the trailer kept switching the order of the stones, which ones were in the glove partially. So like you'd see 3 colors, and then you'd see 4, but one of the colors that was there at 3 wasn't there anymore.
Yep.
They were like, no, fuck you. You don't get to know which order
Yes.
the stones come out in.
So we don't know how much of the shit from the trailer will actually be in the film or is just red herrings. So
Right.
I'm okay with it.
I am too.
Also, Tony Stark's ship is shaped like a swallow, which is symbolism because that's the herald of sailors' final journeys. True story.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No one's gonna die.
Speaking of a smaller cast. Oh, dear Christ.
Zombie Dude up higher in the chat was saying, because you were talking about the last Avengers movie comes
Yeah.
out in April. He's like, it's not going to be the last Avengers movie. It's not going to be the last Marvel movie, but it could be the last Avengers movie.
And the last Avengers with this is the
With
cast.
this
I mean,
group,
there
yeah.
may be a Avengers, but it's going to be like Miss Marvel and Nuke people.
Yeah, I mean,
and there
correct.
may be a Captain America, but it's not going to be Steve Rogers.
won't be Steve Rogers,
There's
yeah.
That's
That's the thing about
These
the
current
Avengers.
actors cost too much money.
Well, the other thing was the
We are
Avengers is
rebooting.
that's part
But
of
they're
what's
also
great
getting
about it.
older.
They all
That's
just
why-
need
yeah.
new characters. Like,
Sure.
it's not
Yeah.
even just, even if these people all work for free, there's a finite amount of
Oh yeah, I'm
screen
perfectly
time.
fine with it.
Yeah.
There's a good
Rotating.
chance that the CW they tease Crisis on Infinite Earth next year. There's a good chance they might replace one of the. They're thinking that they've been like over the years preluding some character death. They might actually replace some major characters on those shows just to kind of follow with some of the stuff. At some point, if you want shows to go on forever, you have to kind of change your cast. And
You
just
have to,
do
yeah.
it. Because either they want to leave, they pay too much money, they're getting too old for the part. There's lots of good reasons.
There's lots of reasons.
comic
Or
book movies have
eventually, one of these giant ensemble cases, the cast will have someone important die
Yeah.
before they finish filming.
Yeah, well,
too.
yeah. I mean, then you just have them regenerated in a new form, and that's your new character superpower. Worked for Doctor Who.
Well, the mantle has been passed on for a lot of superheroes onto different versions.
Yeah,
of themselves.
it works.
Like
I
Cap
mean-
has been replaced.
Yeah.
You know,
It does such a
Iron
good
Man.
job on the comics, so you can do it for the TV. I mean, we've proven the comic nonsense works in the screen.
Sure.
Although when you read like arcs of certain comic stretches, you're like, what the fuck? So I don't mind the movie versions or the simplified versions because some of the comic stuff you're like, they went a little crazy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they had a,
Well, and the problem with actors dying is they'll die at the wrong time, and
Yeah.
then you get
They
stuff
don't
like the
die
beginning of episode 9 is going to be weird.
yeah, they don't die conveniently. No, idiots. Die better.
Yeah, die after like Harrison Ford could have died last year, and it wouldn't have affected anything.
Yeah, he did his role. Yeah, his death is fine now.
But they were saving Leia for last.
Yeah.
Oops. I'm curious what they do with that.
I heard it. Whatever they said, they think it was very respectful. But who knows?
Right. I mean, I don't know.
All I know is
for
like,
the storyline, do you just recast Princess Leia? Do you do like they did with Dumbledore and just say, "Hey, the character needs to be there," or do you just write her out of it?
I don't know.
I think it starts with a funeral.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, if you do that,
as
if you
long
write
as
her
they
out
don't
of it.
CGI the entire movie.
CGI would be the worst, but writing her out of it, but that could be really bad depending on how much she was supposed to be in it.
I think
but
she died. It's a funeral. That's my
Yeah.
guess.
it's probably.
I think that's the best choice, but
It's just so weird, like, that they didn't have a plan for the trilogy, because, like, 8 was entirely unrelated to 7, and they were very public about that.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, yeah, we just told him to do whatever he wanted. It's like, but
I
what?
think behind the scenes they had a couple key things they're keeping low key, but I think in general it was they wanted different tastes, which was a good and a bad thing. Obviously, I still like The Last Jedi, even with a couple flaws, and I think the flaws are over.
They're overblown.
But I mean, it could have been better, but I still liked it overall. But you are right; they felt much different.
I think
the two movies.
also 8 will be reevaluated once 9 comes out
Yeah.
to see
Correct.
if the weird things in there mattered or not.
And it's one of those things where it's always interesting when the next movie can make the previous movie better or worse based on what
Yeah,
it does.
It can, in this case, for sure.
Because there are weird plot twists, and if those end up mattering, they'll be treated as good foreshadowing, and if they're just ignored, then both movies will be awful.
Does episode 9 retroactively make BB-8 not pilot an ATST in the dumbest image I've ever seen in a movie?
I mean, you watched all of episode 1 several times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you have.
BB-8 piloting the ATST is dumber than Jar Jar stepping in poop.
Disagree.
Because at least that's just him stepping in poop. How did he get in there? Why
was
did just the
referring to
top
Jar-
rip off? Why was he still able to pilot it without the top? Why
was
is that
Jar
a thing
Jar
at all?
blackface?
Why is there a child-sized helmet inside this?
That
ship?
might be a bridge too far. Person from Milwaukee. That's twice.
Are we stopping it now?
I think that's a good place to cut it.
All right. Thanks everyone
Could
for
be
watching.
anybody.
Bye.
Fuck you, Travis. It's not even Travis.
That was unrelated, just to
Yeah,
fuck
I've
you,
not
Travis.
stopped it yet. We're still-
I mean, Travis is the best. No, he's not. Are we off yet?
No.
Damn it!
Remember that one part in Into the Spider-Verse that was really good?